The Beginning of Douluo with a pan. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26 Tang 3. On a small hill. Bang. Tang Lin climbed up the hill while standing upside down. Once he reached the top of the mountain, his whole body fell down, causing the ground to shake slightly. Lin, you are so amazing, Wang Xiaoshu said, panting as he held up his legs along the way. Tang Lin exercised himself in various positions, even climbing a mountain, while standing on his head. He was truly convinced by Tang Lin. Did you haven't eaten? Your voice was so low. I didn't hear what you said about me just now. Please speak louder. Wang Xiaoshu, the sun is gradually setting. The entire sky was red, just like the red faces of Tang Lin and Wang Xiaoshu. Xiaoshu, you said you won't get drunk after drinking your wine. It's not a fake bar. Tang Lin asked with a piece of grass in his mouth and his nose. This guy bragged that no matter how much he drank, he would not get drunk. Fortunately, Laozi was not a 3-year-old child, otherwise he would have been deceived into drinking non-drunken wine, which would probably only be fake wine. It's true. If you don't believe me, try it. If you want to trick me into drinking your fake wine, you won't have any plans for me. Forget it. Mom said children can't drink, so it's okay not to drink. Wang Xiaoshu thought. His mother's teachings looked a little sad. The sky was getting dark. Wang Xiaoshu had caught a snake before, and Tang Lin told him that he was going to make snake soup tonight, and he began to look forward to it. Tang Lin looked at the sky and realized it was time to light a fire and cook some food. In the small backpack, there are small mushrooms and other wild vegetables picked in the mountains and forests, as well as a few bird eggs, so you can just make a simple snake soup. Hey, there seems to be a village opposite. At night, the lights in the distance were looming, and it could be seen that it was a medium-sized village. Well, that's the novice village. Tang Lin responded casually. Okay, take yours. Bring out the wine and pour some into the pot. Tang Lin held the pan with his 2 immature hands, and the outline of his muscles immediately appeared in his little hands. This is no simple snake soup. Just now, when Wang Xiaoshu wasn't paying attention, he had already thrown away the snake he had worked so hard to catch. The snake meat now is the giant python spirit beast meat in the first level space backpack of his external soul bone. He knows that, even if his father is secretly protecting them nearby, he cannot keep an eye on them all the time, and there is nothing that can be done here. If they were a threat to them, Dad probably wouldn't pay too much attention to them, so he just took the python's spiritual meat and stewed it. Wang Xiaoshu was a little surprised. He could still pour wine into the food, but he didn't ask any questions. He obediently released his martial spirit and poured some wine out until Tang Lin called to stop. Tang Lin doesn't like drinking. In his opinion, all wines in the world are equally unpleasant to drink, but this does not prevent him from using wine to cook. Tang Lin is also looking forward to this pot of snake soup. According to the introduction of the system, eating too much can not only strengthen your body, but also increase your speed and other attributes. It is said that the only martial arts in the world is fast, which shows how important speed is. Being fast does not necessarily make a person a strong person. But a truly strong person must be faster than others. Okay, let's eat. He ate the snake meat in one mouthful, and the effects soon showed. Tang Lin felt warm in his stomach, and then waves of warmth began to spread to my whole body. Felt warm all of a sudden. Tang Lin's heart could be described as ecstasy. My body is so hot, I want to take off my clothes. Wang Xiaoshu also felt the same. Tang Lin knew that this should be the reason why the two of them had different physical fitness, so Wang Xiaoshu couldn't eat too much. He immediately said, Xiaoshu, you should be full after eating so much. You can't eat anymore. There is no leftover. Just leave it to my brother. Wang Xiaoshu's face turned bitter. It's such a delicious food. No matter how much you eat, you won't feel full. But you really can't eat too much of this food, otherwise your body will explode. So he put it down obediently. Chopsticks, eyes reluctant to look at the snake meat in the pot. Stop looking. Go take a bath at the foot of the mountain. You'll feel better. Seeing him looking at him helplessly, Tang Lin felt very uncomfortable. It was obviously for his own good, but why did he always feel like he was deliberately denying it to him? After eating the same thing, he immediately asked him to go down and take a bath. The next day. The sky was grey and bright, and Tang Lin had already woken up. It turned out that after this period of training, his body had obvious muscle contours, and his skin color was no longer as tender as before. However, after eating snake soup last night, Tang Lin noticed some changes in his body as soon as he got there. Not only has his body become slightly stronger, but his skin has also become smoother, almost the same as before he obtained the soul ring. If he eats too much snake meat, his skin will become as thick as grease and can be broken with a snap of his fingers. I'm already so handsome. She's so cute. If her skin continues to be like this, she will become a pretty girl in the future and become a sissy. It seems that she needs to use soul meat to neutralize it. Tang Lin couldn't help but praise his wit. Suddenly, a 2-year-old kid appeared in front of him, running up to the top of the mountain. His frail little body was as likely to be blown down by a gust of wind, but it was surprisingly tough, and he was able to run up in one breath. Seeing his small body, Tang Lin raised the corner of his mouth slightly. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Hey, Ocean Douluo didn't cook for you. My little brother? I saw the little kid ran to the top of the mountain, wiped the sweat from his forehead, and then immediately sat down and started to vomit. Accept the practice. Xiaolin, what are you sneaking around here and peeking at? Wang Xiaoshu woke up at this time and rubbed his eyes and asked curiously. Tang Lin immediately rolled his eyes at him. What does it mean to be sneaky? Labor and management are upright. He just likes to lie down. Tang Lin said angrily. Shh, don't make any noise. I'm watching how others practice. Who? Wang Xiaoshu was also a smart person, and he immediately lowered his voice and asked in a low voice. Nuo, look over there. His name is Tang San, my little brother. He is only 2 years old now, and he has already come out to practice before dawn. Look at you again. You have slept until now. Wang Xiaoshu looked over curiously, and sure enough I saw a little kid about 2 years old sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed in the distance, not knowing what he was doing. Practitioner Wang Xiaoshu won't believe that such a little brat knows how to cultivate. Are you kidding me? Tang Lin, did he fall asleep for a long time without opening his eyes? Wang Xiaoshu scratched his head and asked with a puzzled look on his face. After looking at it for a long time, I couldn't see anything like a bird. He is practicing. Suddenly, the little boy opened his eyes and looked at the fiery red sun in the east. He did not blink for a long time, and a faint purple aura gradually appeared around his eyes, although Tang Lin couldn't see the purple energy. But when he saw him looking directly at the sun without blinking, he knew that Tang San was cultivating the purple demon eye. Has he already begun to practice the purple demon eye at this time? Has he also practiced other techniques? Tang Lin muttered in his heart. The skills in the Tang sect Zuanshan Baolu are very powerful. Zuanshan Kung, Zuan Jade Hands, Purple Devil Eyes, Ghost Shadow Confusion, Control the Crane and Capture the Dragon. After practicing these skills, you can use the Tang sect's hidden weapons, even if they are stronger than your own. Even a much stronger master could kill him. I don't know how powerful the 2-year-old Tang San is. Tang Lin showed a smirk on his lips. Look at him, and don't disturb his practice. If there is any movement, tell me. I'll go make breakfast. Tang Lin said. Tang San was only over 2 years old at this time, and his alcoholic father drank and slept all day long, so he probably couldn't even eat a single meal. You can tell just by looking at his thin little body. You have to prepare a delicious meal to make him full, and then try his current strength. Tang San will be the god of the sea in the future, with the power to control the sea. Even if he has twin martial souls and has a plug-in like the system, Tang Lin doesn't know if he can be on the same level as Tang San in the future. Therefore, while he is weak now, bully him when you should. Otherwise, if you miss this village, you will not have this store. Chapter 27 Hey Ocean Douluo, Tang Heyo. With the help of the pan, Tang Lin was able to cook like a fish in water soon. He cooked a pot of fragrant spirit beast. What does it smell like? Tang San, who was practicing, sniffed when he smelled the smell, and began to slowly withdraw from practice point. After taking a look, I discovered that there were 2 children cooking under the woods not far away point. Because I practiced so hard, I didn't realize it until now. Tang Lin had been cultivating the purple demon eye for some time, and after taking a closer look, he recognized Tang Lin. Didn't Tang Lin say he was from Notting City? Why did he come to our village so early in the morning? Tang Lin seemed confused at this time, not to mention the children. Most of the adults hadn't gotten up yet. Besides, he was talking about the people in Notting City. Could it be that they slept on this mountain all night last night? Tang Lin couldn't figure it out, so he didn't think about it. He wanted to continue meditating, but found that Tang Lin was actually waving to him at Holy Soul Village. Tang Feng actually followed Tang Lin and the 2. After following Tang Lin here, he discovered something interesting. He heard the people in the village talking about Tang Heo and blacksmithing. He came to the house of the blacksmith in the village. Maybe this was just a coincidence. With so many mainlanders, it wasn't surprising that they had the same name, or so he thought. But he definitely wanted to try. Tang Feng began to release some of the pressure on him. Who are you? A heavy voice came out from the room, causing the whole house to tremble. I didn't expect that the mighty Heotian Douluo would hide in such a small village. Tang Feng's eyes lit up at that time, smiled. Tang Heo in the room just said softly, but Tang Feng outside the room felt as if a sleeping lion was about to wake up, which frightened him. Is this the strength of Heotian Douluo? Why are you here? Tang Lin asked curiously. Passing by, Tang Lin said, sit down and eat together. Are you hungry too? Tang Lin touched his stomach and found that he was indeed a little hungry. And looking at the delicious meat in the pan, he couldn't help but swallow a few mouthfuls of saliva. He is only 2 years old now and cannot cook at all. And Tang Heo was drunk every day and would sleep all morning until he had business to do. At this time, Tang Lin was already hungry. After all, he couldn't eat enough for dinner the day before. Why did you pass by our Holy Soul Village so early in the morning? Tang Lin continued to ask. He felt that Tang Lin was different from other children, so he was willing to talk more to Tang Lin and take the opportunity to learn more about the world. Saint Soul Village sounds so powerful. Tang Lin, didn't you tell me this is called Novice Village? Wang Xiaoshu scratched his head again and asked curiously. Tang Lin rolled his eyes at Wang Xiaoshu and ignored him. Then he sighed to Tang San. We came back from the Stardao forest, but my father abandoned us halfway and then let us walk back by ourselves with the excuse that it was training for us. Following the map, we went through a lot of hardships. We have just come here, and today we can reach Notting City. Wang Xiaoshu nodded to him, and Tang Lin also looked pitiful. Tang Lin was a little unbelievable for a moment. How could there be such a father in the world who doesn't care about his son's life? Fortunately, I have a good father. Tang Lin gradually sat down and slowly communicated with the 2 of them. When he got up, when he heard about martial spirits, soul beasts, and soul rings, he learned more about the world and became more and more fascinated by it. Only then did Wang Xiaoshu realize that Tang Lin's statement that this boy was his younger brother was just nonsense. At this moment, Tang San's stomach growled, and Tang Lin looked embarrassed. Wang Xiaoshu laughed out loud and directly pulled him over with one hand. Let's eat together. We can't finish this pot. Eat. The body is the capital of revolution. Without a strong body, what? It's all just clouds. Tang Lin said. Tang Lin hesitated for a moment, but finally picked up the chopsticks. He felt that Tang Lin was right. The body is the most important thing. After eating a few pieces of meat, Tang Lin immediately noticed something was wrong. First of all, this meat is so delicious. It is almost the most delicious thing he has never tasted in his 2 lives. Secondly, as soon as this spiritual beast is swallowed into the body, it can be quickly converted into energy, making his whole body warm very quickly. Warm. Don't worry, it's only good for your health. It's not harmful. Tang Lin noticed his strangeness and explained. Tang Lin nodded. Tang Sect had the Tang Sect poison skill, so of course he knew it was not harmful to him. He was just too surprised by this pot of animal meat. He could clearly feel that this telekinesis beast was very useful to him, especially with his current body. He felt like his body was like a bottomless pit, frantically absorbing that warm energy. Tang Lin immediately activated the Zuanshan technique To accelerate the absorption and digestion of the energy inhaled into the body. Slowly, Wang Xiaoshu couldn't eat anymore. Tang Lin and Tang Lin could still continue to eat. He wasn't surprised at all by Tang Lin, but he didn't expect that Tang San, who was no more than 2 years old, could actually eat more monsters than him. One monster after another gradually became too much for Tang San to eat. Although he still wanted to continue eating, his body could no longer let him continue eating. Tang Lin also put down his chopsticks at this time. Tang Lin, can't you eat anymore? Wang Xiaoshu asked. How is that possible? It's just an intermission. Tang Lin smiled. If he was full so quickly, wouldn't this pot of delicious food be wasted? After he came back and peered, Tang Lin continued to eat. Wang Xiaoshu Tang San was extremely impressed. Tang San began to meditate with his eyes closed, running the Zuanshan technique to slowly digest the energy. Gradually, his face became rosier at this moment. He felt so comfortable all over his body. Tang San, you're full, Tang Lin said. I'm full. How do you feel? My whole body feels warm and comfortable. That's right, my pot of meat is no ordinary meat. Eating it will make your body stronger. If you find someone to fight now and completely transform those powers into your own energy, the effect will be even better. Tang Lin said nonsense seriously. How about I reluctantly fight with you? Only in this way can we the beast meat that he just ate was not wasted. Tang San felt that what Tang Lin said was reasonable, but he was self-aware, and he knew that he was definitely no match for either Tang Lin or Wang Xiaoshu. Tang Lin saw his worry and smiled. Don't worry, I don't use martial arts and soul power. I don't use my hands and feet. Don't say that, I bully you. As long as you can beat me, I will do it for you. One pot. Tang San frowned. It was natural not to use martial arts and soul power. After all, Tang Lin was already 6 years old, and he was only over 2 years old. But not using both hands and feet is too much. Who is he looking down on? That's why he decided to teach this arrogant guy Tang Lin a lesson. Okay. Tang San smiled. Tang Lin smiled maliciously. If he becomes Poseidon in the future, and I tell people that I bullied Poseidon, will anyone believe it? Tang Lin knows very well that Tang San now has no hidden weapons, and Zuanshan Baolu's skills have only just been practiced, so even if he doesn't use them, you can easily defeat him without using your hands or feet. His purpose was just to see how strong Tang Lin was now. The two of them stood opposite each other. Tang Lin signaled that Tang San could start attacking. Tang San was also polite. Since you are arrogant, I will make you regret it. I saw him dodging left and right, and directly use the ghost shadow to swipe at Tang Lin. Come on, come to Tang Lin's side easily and quickly. Wang Xiaoshu on the side was stunned. Tang San was really only 2 years old. This was too fast. Then Tang San raised his Zuan Yu hand and used the Zuan Shan Kung to control the crane and capture the dragon. He wanted to catch Tang Lin off guard with one move. Tang Lin smiled at the corner of his mouth. Stood still. Tang San held Tang Lin's arm with his two short hands, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't pull Tang Lin away. This made him extremely surprised. An ordinary 6 or 7-year-old child would probably be beaten into knots in an instant by this move. But he couldn't shake Tang Lin. I'll give you another chance, Tang Lin said with a smile. Tang San found that he had underestimated the enemy. If he had used all his strength just now, this would never have happened. Control the crane and capture the dragon. Tang San took action again. It's a pity that Tang Lin still can't be shaken even one bit. It's incredible. Tang Lin's body is really too strong. This should be the reason why he eats that kind of animal meat every day. The same must be true for Wang Xiaoshu. No wonder his father dared to let them walk home by themselves. Tang San thought to himself. Little did he know that this was also Tang Lin's first time eating a rhinoceros beast. Bang! Tang Lin turned sideways and directly knocked Tang San to the ground with his body. This time the goal has been achieved. I lost. You are really good. But one day I will win back. Tang San got up and said. Tang San has regarded Tang Lin as his goal from now on. Tang Lin smiled awkwardly. When Tang San was not a god, he could already use the Tang sect's hidden weapon to seriously injure the angel god Kan Ringsu. He felt that he would never be able to fight with Tang San again, not even to death. Ding defeated Tang San, son of the plane, for the first time, and rewarded the host with 2 eternal diamond level draws. That's okay. Tang Lin was immediately happy. The eternal diamond drawer is great, but there are only 2 drawers left to win the 10th drawer in a row. The system says he is the son of the plane, which means he is the protagonist of Douluo. Damn, I still had a glimmer of hope in my heart. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28. Back to Notting City. Heaven Dao Empire. Fasno Province, Notting City. Liang Yi. I'll give you 3 days. After 3 days, I want to hear a satisfactory answer. Otherwise, our shark family gang will be humiliated. Think about it yourself. You are robbing your eyes. After all, there is no national law anymore. Liang Bo, the housekeeper of the Liang family, said angrily, but the man ignored him and left with a flick of his sleeves. Sir, are we really going to hand over the slaughterhouse to them? We have worked so hard to run it. I'll think of another way. Liang Yi sighed helplessly. Although Notting City is not a big city in the Fasno province, it is very close to the border with another empire, the Luo Empire, and it is naturally one of the starting points for business transactions between the 2 empires. So Notting has always been a relatively prosperous city, even more prosperous than some big cities, although Notting Slaughterhouse seems to be just an ordinary business. After all, most of the meat in the city is shipped out from here. So there is a lot of water flowing every day. The owner of the slaughterhouse, Liang Yi, is just a sole master in his 30s and has no background. Although he is a noble, he is the lowest level noble baron. Therefore, this slaughterhouse has attracted the jealousy of some restless people in Notting City, who also want a piece of the pie, and even want to replace Liang Yi as the owner of the slaughterhouse. After Tang Lin and Tang Sun said goodbye to each other, they quickly arrived at Notting City, and then rushed to their homes immediately. Mom, I'm back. Tang Lin started shouting, before he even entered the door, but when he didn't get a response, Tang Lin thought that his mother might not be at home. Pigeon, pigeon, pigeon. Hug. After pushing the door open and entering the house, Tang Xiaomi ran over immediately. Xiaomi. Tang Lin missed his sister after not seeing her for more than a month, so he picked her up. In the past, it was a bit difficult for Tang Lin to hold this little fat girl. But now, the fat girl is still so fat, but Tang Lin has become stronger, and it is effortless to hold her up. Tang Xiaomi is the same, thinking about Tang Lin every day. Now that I suddenly saw Tang Lin, I couldn't help but shed tears, and hugged Tang Lin tightly with both hands. Xiaomi, where's mom? Tang Lin asked as he sat down with her in his arms. Xiaomi doesn't know. Tang Xiaomi sobbed, his big eyes flashing with tears. Xiaomi, were you sleeping just now? Tang Xiaomi nodded. She was sleeping upstairs just now, and woke up when she heard Tang Lin's voice and ran downstairs. This is my sister, Tang Xiaomi. Xiaomi, my name is brother Xiaoshu. Tang Lin smiled. Xiaoshu Jejej. Wang Xiaoshu nodded to her, pinched her little face, and smiled helplessly. This little girl is really clinging to his brother. She has been hugging Tang Lin since she entered the house and refused to let go, for fear that someone would snatch her away from her. Tang Lin came to the tavern, and his mother was not in the tavern either, so she must have gone out. After talking to the tavern steward, Tang Lin took the 2 of them to the city. Xiaoshu, I will take you to Notting City to eat delicious food. Tang Lin smiled and winked at Wang Xiaoshu. Wang Xiaoshu felt a pain in his body. He knew that Tang Lin was a poor man. How could Tang Lin have the money to treat him to food? Looking at Tang Lin's look, he knew that he would have to pay again. Tang Xiaomi's favorite thing is to let her brother take her out to go shopping and buy food. She hasn't seen her brother for more than a month, let alone come out to play. Her mother is busy with things every day and rarely has time to play with her. She can only leave her at home or in a pub. Now that Tang Lin came back to take her out to play, she felt happy. Tang Lin introduced various delicacies and snacks in Notting City to Wang Xiaoshu along the way. Along the way, he met Tang Xiaomi's various requirements, as long as they were what she wanted to eat and play. Buy them all for her anyway, he didn't pay for it himself. Xiaomi, let brother Xiaoshu buy that delicious one for you. Tang Lin said to his sister when he saw the ice cream. Jej, Xiaomi is full. Tang Xiaomi held Tang Lin in one hand and held a few skewers of meatballs in the other. He burped and looked at Tang Lin with innocent eyes. Look, Xiaomi is full. How about we go back? Wang Xiaoshu said happily. Immediately Pointy felt miserable. How could this little girl be so good at eating and even choose the delicious and expensive ones to eat? The money I had worked so hard to save was spent lavishly. Tang Lin thought for a moment and couldn't let his sister eat too much. After all, eating too much would make people stupid, so he nodded. Boss, give me an ice cream. Xiaoshu, give me the money and we are going back. Tang Lin smiled. He hasn't eaten ice cream for a long time. Even if Xiaomi doesn't eat it, he will still eat one. Wang Xiaoshu rolled his eyes at Tang Lin with hatred. Calculating the time, there should be a lot of boxes in the slaughterhouse at this time. Even if they come out, go to the slaughterhouse before going back. Tang Lin had already figured out before that there were 2 time periods in the slaughterhouse that were most suitable for him to lick the box. It's 10 o'clock in the morning for one person and 4 o'clock in the afternoon for another person. Before these 2 periods, domestic animals continued to turn into boxes and then began to repair them. This was also the best time for him to lick the boxes holding the lively Tang Xiaomi and Wang Xiaoshu in hand. Tang Lin slowly arrived at the slaughterhouse. Now there is no need to go in. He can lick as much as he wants within the 30-meter scanning range. Although Wang Xiaoshu didn't know what Tang Lin was doing, he didn't care. He followed Tang Lin and walked around the slaughterhouse. Tang Xiaomi pinched his nose and frowned along the way. After the system's scanning ranges increased, the benefits are obvious. After just walking around outside, I got more than 30 boxes of energy. However, Tang Lin found that there were several times more guards in front of Liang Yu's house than usual, and he couldn't help but be a little confused. Could it be that something happened to his family? Tang Lin led the 2 of them over. He had promised Liang Yu before that he would come find him when he came back. When the guards saw Tang Lin walking towards them, one of the guards looked directly at him to stop him. Kids, go play somewhere else. You are not allowed in here. My name is Tang Lin, and I'm a friend of your young master Liang Yu. Go and tell him. He will let me in. Tang Lin said. The guard shook his head. Of course he didn't believe it. Young Master Liang Yu never had any friends and Tang Lin didn't look like the young master's friend. Tang Lin didn't notice that the clothes the 2 of them were wearing were a little tattered and dirty, but Tang Xiaomi's sculpted appearance was endearing. When the guard saw Tang Xiaomi, he couldn't help but smile kindly. You guys can go play somewhere else. Our young master doesn't have time to play with you now. In a few days, it will be the first day of school at Notting College, and the housekeeper who loves the young master the most is. The young master is not allowed to go out to play and is only allowed to study hard at home. So regardless of whether Tang Lin was the young master's playmate or not, he didn't dare to let them go in and disturb the young master. Tang Lin nodded. Since he couldn't get in, there was nothing he could do. At that time, he could explain to Liang Yu that it was not that he did not come to him, but that he could not enter his house. Come back to him later when you have time. So he took Xiaomi and left directly. Liang Yu felt a little sad when he learned that Tang Lin came to see him. Because his father wouldn't let him go out. Even his uncle who loved him the most agreed with his father's approach. He can only study at home now. Liang Bo saw his appearance and secretly shook his head. It's also for his own good not to let him out. Those people from the Shark family gang are not good people. Chapter 29 Star Luo Royal Academy. Night. It's so shameless of your father to leave you all alone. After hearing what Tang Lin said about what happened along the way, Li Rao was furious, and her voice startled Tang Xiaomi next to her. Mom, Dad did that to exercise our courage. And I know he must be protecting us secretly. Otherwise, how could we get home safely all the way? Tang Lin said with a sneer. Wait until he comes back and see how I deal with him, Li Rao said angrily. But when it came to his father, Tang Lin was a little confused. How come they have been home for so long and haven't seen their dad come back? Isn't there really anything to do? Tang Lin thought about it and felt that it shouldn't be. He should choose a school at this time. There is nothing important for him that his dad has not arranged. He won't go anywhere until he recovers. Tang Lin had a flash of idea and thought of a possibility. Could it be that dad discovered Tang Heo's traces when he followed us to Holy Soul Village and then fought with him? After all, the current situation in Haoshan Sect City is believed to be caused by Tang Heo. If this is the case, my father will definitely be beaten. After all, that is someone Haoshan Douluo dares to beat even the Pope. If you mess with him, aren't you looking for death? Tang Lin began to feel a little worried. Oh, who said they were going to deal with me just now? Suddenly, Tang Feng's voice came from outside the door. It's Daddy, Tang Xiaomi shouted happily, quickly got down from the seat, and ran to open the door. Tang Lin breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, everything was fine. I said I wanted to deal with you. What's wrong? Do you have any objections? Li Rao said with a raised eyebrow. No, absolutely not. This is a whip. You can hit my wife as you like. You can hit her however you want, Tang Feng said with a cheerful smile. Wang Xiaoshu looked at Tang Feng in surprise. Tang Feng's image in his heart collapsed at this moment. He originally thought he was going to see a couple having a big fight, but he didn't expect that Uncle Tang Feng would be such an uncle. The world's great wonders. Tang Lin shook his head. He was speechless when seeing such an old man on the table. After some fun, the family began to talk about Tang Lin's cultivation. Tang Feng gradually became serious. He was still holding Xiaomi, who was just playing around, but stared at Tang Lin and said seriously, Xiaolin, now you have two choices. First, go to the sect to practice. Second, I will choose a school for you, and you will go to the school to practice. Which school will dad choose for me? Xingluo Royal Academy. Xingluo, there are people I know in the Imperial Royal Academy, so I can rest assured if you go there. But Xiandao Royal Academy is also possible. With your talent, you can get in, even if I don't have anyone in there. Wang Xiaoshu was filled with enthusiasm for a moment. Surging, these are the two best schools in the continent. Tang Lin can actually choose which one to go to. It is really enviable. Then I'll choose third, Tang Lin said nonchalantly. Tang Feng. Everyone was confused. What could they say? Tang Lin let out a breath and said slowly, Dad, it actually doesn't matter where you study or practice. The most important thing is to see yourself. Otherwise, it's up to you. Not in college. It's close to home. You can come back every day if you want. Xiaoshu will come with me. Tang Lin has masters 10 core competences of martial arts, and they stopped on the way back. Stop. He also read this book. Regarding martial arts, no academy has the ability to teach him now. As for cultivation, he has a system and a spiritual body, so for him, it is the same cultivation everywhere. In this case, why not follow the principle of being close to not in college? He had so much spirit beast meat, and he had to find a way to use it to make his family stronger together. If he went to those royal academies, he would have to leave his family, which was not possible. Hearing Tang Lin's answer, Tang Feng frowned slightly. Tang Lin has always been very sensible, but like Tang Xiaomi, he relies too much on his family and likes to cling to them, which is not a good thing for their future. No, these two are the best colleges on the mainland. You can either choose one or return to the sect, Tang Feng said firmly. Both schools have mimicry training environments. Tang Lin's talent must not be wasted elsewhere. As for whether someone will discover his soul power, this can be easily solved. The key is to get him to agree. Xiaolin, why not go to the sect to practice? Mom and sister will go with you. Li Rao thought for a while and said the best solution now is to go back to Haoshan Sect as a family. Although they may not be happy there, for the sake of their son, it doesn't matter. Tang Lin got angry when he mentioned Haoshan Sect. He would always remember that Tang Sen still owed his mother an apology. Although the Haoshan Sect did not agree with Tang Lin's inclusion in the family tree, there was no problem at all in cultivating in the Haoshan Sect. And practicing there was indeed better than practicing outside, but he just didn't want his mother and sister to go to that place. Tang Lin shook his head and fell into deep thought. Dad's attitude is very firm, probably because he always thinks about being with his family and acts too clingy. But people have to grow up. Many people leave their parents and go to school to study and practice after awakening the martial arts. My father probably wants me to grow up earlier after all. The golden age of cultivation is before the age of 20, especially after awakening the martial spirit. Dad doesn't want me to waste any training time. After my father did this, did he still want me to become a peerless strongman and then represent the Haoshan sect to resist the Wuhan palace? Tang Lin suddenly smiled when he thought of this. The Haoshan sect wouldn't even let him enter the family tree. My father is the eyes of the sect outside, staring at Wuhan palace and the major forces. He works for the sect and has little time to take care of his wife and children. However, they speak out to slander their parents. No one has come out to speak for his father. For such a sect, I'm afraid I'll have to wait until I become a fool to fight. Tang Lin has his own way to deal with Wuhan palace. How I will do it will only be known later. Seeing that Tang Lin didn't speak for a long time, Tang Feng continued, Xiao Lin, since you don't want to return to the sect, Xingluo Royal Academy is a good choice. Every holiday, Dad will personally pick you back. In the original work, the master once said that the Haoshan sect vaguely intends to support the Star Luo Empire. It seems that what the master said is true. As the diplomat of Haoshan sect, my father has probably always been in contact with the Xingluo royal family. However, Tang Lin still shook his head to express his refusal. Mom can't become a soul master, so now he can only rely on his own soul beast meat to make her stronger, and his father is also a genius in cultivation. If he has the help of spiritual beasts and flesh, one day he will be able to break through to the realm of titled Douluo. He is not willing to leave Tang Xiaomi. Tang Xiaomi has always eaten better than him. Her seemingly fat body is actually strong. The little girl is still very strong at a young age. My physical strength seems to be inexhaustible, and I don't even know how tired I'm from running around all day long. She must have some special physique. Although she doesn't know what martial spirit she will awaken, Tang Lin is determined to let the whole family become stronger together with him. Even if she awakens some useless martial soul, it won't be a problem. With the slicking box system, Tang Lin became more and more confident. He was confident that he could slowly turn his family into a strong person. After obtaining the soul ring, until he returned to Notting City, he thought about what he was going to do. Today, he felt it was time to tell his father something, otherwise there was really no way to change his mind. Dad, I want to talk to you alone. Chapter 30 God of Creation. Tang Lin looked serious. Tang Feng nodded to Li Rao, and then Li Rao took Wang Xiaoshu and Xiaomi away, leaving Tang Lin and his son talking alone. Just say what you want to say. Tang Feng took a sip of water and said. Tang Lin sighed. Oh, there's nothing I can do. Dad, I'm showing off my cards. In fact, I'm God's chosen one. God's chosen one. Tang Feng touched Tang Lin's forehead and found that his son didn't have a fever either. How did he start? Tang Lin didn't say anything when he started talking dirty. He just stood up. Then he took off the lynxy heavy armor on his body, held the heavy armor with one hand and gently placed it on the ground. With a bang sound, a burst of dust rose from the ground. Tang Feng's eyes focused, and he looked carefully at the clothes on the ground. Realizing that this was just an ordinary piece of clothing, it could actually make such a big noise. At Tang Lin's signal, Tang Feng squatted down in disbelief and tried to pick up the seemingly ordinary black piece of clothing. But when he got it in his hands, he realized that the thin black clothes were not as simple as they seemed. The clothes actually weighed about 50 kilograms. How could this be possible? He looked at Tang Lin in surprise. Tang Lin came over and touched the clothes with his right hand. The weight of the clothes instantly increased to 100 kilograms and almost fell from Tang Feng's hands. Tang Feng was speechless for a moment. He felt that this was simply too heavy. It's amazing. The weight of this dress can be changed according to the owner's wishes. The heaviest weight can be up to pounds. Dad, you will know after you try it on. Tang Lin said. After putting this piece of clothing on, it will connect with the owner's mind, and you will be able to clearly understand its defense and additional functions. After Tang Feng put it on, he really felt the magic and secretly sighed that this was such an ingenious thing. He looked at Tang Lin and expressed his doubts. Lina, don't worry, no one will be able to hear our conversation. Tang Lin nodded and said, the realm above title Douluo is to become a level god. This father should know that now in Douluo continent, there are still gods, right? Tang Feng nodded. He had heard of this. Just hearing that his 6-year-old son already knew the realm of God made him a little confused for a while. Actually, when I awakened my martial soul, I already knew that my innate soul power was level. How did you know that? Tang Feng asked. At that time, even he and the sect leader Tang Xiao could only confirm that Tang Lin had full innate soul power. They never thought that there was such a thing as level innate soul power in this world. God told me, Tang Lin said with a look of contemplation and recollection, as if he was recalling the time when he first awakened his martial spirit. Tang Lin lied, but he didn't actually lie. The system told him that his innate soul power was level. Of course he couldn't explain the system's cheats to his dad, so he could only say it was a god. God, it turns out. Does God really exist? That son is really the person he said he was chosen by God. Tang Feng was surprised and a little dazed. Why does it sound so mysterious? Douluo continent doesn't know why. It has been a long time. Gods have been around for so long that people in the world have begun to doubt whether gods really existed in this world. Tang Lin nodded. When I awakened my martial spirit, a ray of light fell from the sky and entered the center of my eyebrows. Then a voice told me in my mind that he was the god of creation. He said that my innate soul power was level and that I had extraordinary talents. You are gifted and qualified to receive his inheritance. Creation god. Tang Feng felt so powerful when he heard the title of this god, which made his breathing become more and more rapid, and he began to be out of breath during the performance. Dad, calm down. No one can know about this matter. I must keep a low profile now, Tang Lin said solemnly. He had no choice but to say this to Tang Feng. If others knew about it, he would probably be in trouble. Tang Feng couldn't calm down for a long time and nodded in agreement. If the son was really chosen by God, wouldn't he have a chance to become a god? Then everything would be explained. Okay, Tang Feng sat down, trying to calm down but still couldn't calm himself down. He began to think slowly. Since his son wants to keep a low profile, he cannot be allowed to go to a crowded and complicated place like the Royal Academy. As he said, Notting Academy is very good. He feels the heavy armor he is wearing. He knows that this thing is still being able to withstand the attacks of the aggressive soul sect. It may not be certain that his son has more life-saving things in him. With these things, and with his intelligence, let alone Notting City, even in Chiandao City, there is no need to worry about him. After a long time, Tang Feng finally said, in that case, I will listen to you for the time being, and stay at Notting College. I happen to know the Dean of Notting College too. Tang Lin got his wish. The two began to chat slowly again. Tang Lin had already gotten up before dawn the next day. Then he took out the spirit beast meat and stewed a pot of spirit meat porridge for everyone. Then he took Wang Xiaoshu out to practice. At this time, the streets of Notting City were empty, which was perfect for them to carry out various training projects. Tang Lin can also take the opportunity to lick a wave of small boxes after returning from morning exercise. I woke up my father and sister who were sleeping like dead pigs, and the family started eating porridge. Although the taste and smell are the same as ordinary porridge, the effect after eating it is quite different. This porridge is really different. Although Tang Feng was mentally prepared, he was still surprised. Feeling the abundant energy in his body, he thought that if he could eat like this for a long time, ordinary people would probably grow to the point where they could rival soul masters. Tang Lin smiled and said nothing, feeding him a mouthful of millet from time to time. Tang Lin and Tang Feng were full after 3 bowls, and Li Rao and Wang Xiaoshu couldn't eat anymore after 2 bowls. After the last family member finished eating, they sat at the dining table and watched Tang Xiaomi eat. Tang Xiaomi didn't feel embarrassed. She ate obediently by herself, glancing into the pan from time to time. Tang Lin thought that Tang Xiaomi would be able to do just that. She ate 1 or 2 bowls, but she didn't expect that she would eat 5 bowls before she put down her spoon with a satisfied look on her face. Since Tang Xiaomi likes to eat meat, there are probably 1 or 2 bowls of meat in the 5 bowls of porridge, and the rest is porridge. Everyone has to admire her appetite. After eating, Tang Lin took out the spirit snake armor again. Since his father had already told him, he had no worries. Tang Lin tried this spirit snake armor and found that apart from its amazing defensive power, it was comfortable to wear and had no other additional functions. This spirit snake armor is no longer of use to Dad. But my mother sometimes goes out to discuss business or something, so a piece of snake armor can be used for self-defense. After all, this can resist the attack of the Soul King, and Soul Masters generally will not attack ordinary people without any reason. Mom was surprised and confused. Dad would explain it to her. As for Wang Xiaoshu, he is a smart guy. All he needs to do is tell him not to tell anyone about it. Tang Xiaomi didn't understand anything, but when she saw Tang Lin giving her new clothes, she jumped up with joy. After kissing Tang Lin on the face, Tang Lin smiled and put on 3 pieces of spirit snake armor on her. Xiaolin, you will go to school in 2 days. You should rest these days. Tang Feng laughed. The two of them had been practicing all the way back from the Stardao forest. They were going to school in 2 days. Seeing that they still got up early to practice hard, Tang Feng felt distressed. Tang Lin nodded. Dad, I know. Cultivation must be practiced, and the so-called rest can only mean reducing the amount of practice. Tang Lin also knew that he couldn't just practice hard, so in the afternoon he would still take Wang Xiaoshu to meditate and practice, read books, study words, and study the 10 core competences of Wuhan. I don't know what the school is like. Tang Lin began to look forward to it. Chapter 31. Meet the silly dog again. Notting City, Liang family. 3 days have passed, and the Sha family brought people to the Liang family. The leader was Lu Han, a soul master who had just reached level 30. If Tang Lin were here, he would definitely be able to recognize Lu Han. He was a member of the Sergal family who had a conflict with Tang Feng outside the Stardao forest. It's just that he hadn't obtained the 3rd soul ring at that time, and was just a great soul master. Now he has become a soul master. Liang Yi, 3 days have passed, how are you thinking? Lu Han asked arrogantly. Today he was going to take down the Notting slaughterhouse for his family, to celebrate his becoming a soul lord, and to prove his worth to the family at the same time. Lu Han, I didn't expect you to be so arrogant when you first joined Soul Lord. You did this in Notting City in broad daylight. Does your clan leader know? Liang Yi said. Liang Yi didn't believe that these people dared to confront his Liang family in the city and attack him directly. At most, they were just verbal threats. After all, this Notting City has the Spirit Hall and the Empire to maintain order. Tavern. Just in case, Liang Yi asked his housekeeper Liang Bo to take his son Liang Yi out to play early. Liang Yi didn't know what happened at home, so he was very happy after coming out and went directly to Tang Lin's tavern to play with Tang Lin. Tang Lin, are you going to study at Notting College tomorrow? Liang Yi asked. Liang Yi was very happy to see Tang Lin and asked about everything. On the other hand, Tang Lin had no interest in chatting with him. At this moment, he was still thinking about the master's theories, so he answered him perfunctorily and casually. Yes, Notting College starts tomorrow. You should be coming to Notting College too, right? Liang Yi and Wang Xiaoshu were different in Tang Lin's eyes. Liang Yi was just a little brat, and Tang Lin treating him is like a big brother treating the kid next door. Wang Xiaoshu is brave, smart, and somewhat mature and sensible. After his experiences on the way back, Tang Lin has treated him as a peer and a brother and friend. Of course, the same is true for Wang Xiaoshu. Maybe, Liang Yi said uncertainly. Maybe. Tang Lin was puzzled and cast a questioning look at the Liang family's housekeeper. The housekeeper was worried about the Liang family at the moment. He had no mood to care about their children, so he didn't bother to care about Tang Lin. Tang Lin was not angry either. Seeing him looking absent-minded and secretly anxious, Tang Lin thought of the heavy security guard at the door of Liang's house, and Liang Yi had just complained to him that he was not allowed to go out and contact him in the past few days. He suddenly thought of a possibility. Maybe the Liang family had encountered some trouble recently. What kind of trouble is it? Even Liang Yi has trouble going out. Now even going to the Soul Master Academy has become unknown. Could it be that he has provoked the Wuhan Palace? However, the Wuhan Palace in Notting City has not deteriorated yet. They will not arbitrarily attack the nobles of the Empire. How? Then there is only one possibility, which is other family forces in Notting City. With the strength of the Liang family, they are probably the one being bullied. Thinking of this, Tang Lin looked at the Soul Master experience card and Soul Sect experience card in his backpack. He had long wanted to try these two experience cards. Maybe this time would be an opportunity. Tang Lin suddenly said, "Liang Yi, how about we go to your house and have fun?" "No." Before Liang Yi could answer, Liang Bo refused decisively. Tang Lin smiled in his heart. I'm afraid he had guessed pretty well. This made him want to go over and take a look more and more, and it just so happened that it was time for him to go over and lick the box. "Okay," Liang Yi said innocently. "Zioi, we just came out. Let's continue playing for a while and then we go home." Liang Bo said hurriedly. "This is nothing fun. Let's go somewhere else to play." Tang Lin chuckled, pulled Liang Yi, and slipped out. Liang family. "Liang Yi, your little Liang family dares to offend our Shalu family. I advise you to think about it for the sake of your family. Otherwise, it will be difficult for you to survive in Notting City." Lu Han threatened. Liang Yi was very angry when faced with Lu Han's threat, but he was helpless. The Liang family only has 2 soul masters, him and his second brother, while the Lu Han family has 6 soul masters and even a soul sect. And they are all arrogant and unreasonable people, who often make things difficult for others. Even children are not spared. It was because of them that no one of Liang Yi's age dared to play with him. Seeing Liang Yi being threatened by him, but not daring to speak, and could only secretly hate him, Lu Han felt very happy and comfortable in his heart, and he looked even more proud. "Brother Lu, everyone in Notting looks up but not down. You should keep a line as a human being." One of Liang Yi's aristocratic friends also advised him. Lu Han ignored him and said directly to Liang Yi, "Liang Yi, let me ask you one last time, will you give it to me?" "So what if I don't give it to you?" "Don't worry, I won't do anything to you in Notting City. It's just that I won't give it to you. You have to be careful outside from now on." Lu Han made bold threats again and again, and Liang Yi could only endure it. Even if the people in front of him couldn't beat him, he didn't dare to do it. Thinking of his family and children, he finally gave up resistance. Compared with the safety of my family, business money is nothing. I was about to raise my head and agree, but suddenly I heard a milky voice coming from the door. "Hey, isn't this a stupid dog from the Sergal family? Why is he running around barking and biting again?" Everyone looked over in surprise when they heard the sound and found that it was actually a 6-year-old child who said it. Some wanted to laugh and some were itchy with anger. Tang Lin was a little depressed. He originally thought he would meet a king, but he didn't expect to meet a bronze. It seems that there is no chance to use the experience card. Liang Yi looked at Liang Bo accusingly. Liang Bo felt helpless for a moment. It wasn't that he didn't want to stop it, but he couldn't stop it at all. He also didn't expect that he, a great soul master, could not even stop children like Tang Lin. Liang Yi suddenly felt a little strange. Lu Han, who was usually extremely arrogant, didn't say anything when he heard others calling him a stupid dog. When he looked at Lu Han again, he saw a look of horror on his face, and his eyes were staring straight at Tang Lin, full of fear. How could this little Xiaoliang family be related to such a powerful person? Lu Han muttered in his heart, unable to believe that this was true. Liang Yi also quickly noticed that Lu Han was actually afraid that the friends his son brought would not shut up after seeing him being humiliated. Liang Yi suddenly looked proud. The look in Lu Han's eyes also changed. Lu Han was helpless and afraid. He finally realized how Liang Yi felt when he bullied Liang Yi before. Tang Lin smiled contemptuously, insulting others forever. "Young master, we didn't know they were your friends. I'm sorry." Lu Han lowered his head and apologized to Tang Lin helplessly. From Tang Lin's tone just now, he could already hear Tang Lin's displeasure. He didn't want to offend Tang Lin, so he could only apologize. "Brother Liang, it was our fault before. I hope you don't mind." Liang Yi and everyone present were extremely shocked. Who is this child that can make Lu Han so jealous, even afraid? Chapter 32. My silly sister. After LV Han apologized, he left in disgrace, leaving behind the shocked Liang family. They realized that Tang Lin was not simple, and that he was not an ordinary child at all. Unable to use the experience card, Tang Lin left in a bored manner and went to the slaughterhouse to lick the box. Liang Yi looked at Tang Lin's back as he left, and his heart was full of gratitude. If it weren't for Tang Lin, He really didn't know what to do today. Liang Bo's attitude towards Tang Lin also changed 360 degrees, becoming very respectful, which made Tang Lin a little uncomfortable. But this is also good. It is more convenient for him to lick the box. At sunset, in order to celebrate Tang Lin and Wang Xiaoxu going to school, the family prepared to have a delicious meal in their own tavern. At this time, an old man wearing neat Soul Master clothes came outside the door. As soon as they entered the door, everyone saw that it was the clothes of the Wuhan Hall, and immediately stood up and greeted respectfully. Some regular customers of the tavern seemed more relaxed and natural, because they all knew this old man. The person who came was the deacon of the Wuhan branch hall of Notting City, Master Mishuno. He is amiable and approachable, and never puts on airs as a spirit master. He usually likes to come here to drink some beer, and over time, everyone has become acquaintances. People who don't know each other seem very reserved. They don't know why they can meet spirit masters from the spirit hall in such a small shop. Xiaolin, give grandpa a pot of beer and a plate of peanuts. Ma Xuanyuo came in and saw Tang Lin, so he smiled at him. Okay, Grandpa Ma Xuanyuo. Tang Lin usually comes to the tavern to help do some things within his ability, such as wiping the wine on the table, so he is also an old acquaintance with Ma Xuanyuo. Xiaolin, you are almost 6 years old, right? Ma Xuanyuo sat down, took a sip of beer, and began to ask. I'm 6 years old, and I will go to Notting College to register tomorrow. Well, not bad. A calm and sensible child like you is really suitable for cultivation. It's a pity that such a sensible child can't join our spirit hall. Alas, it's a pity. Ma Xuanyuo sighed. Tang Lin smiled perfunctorily. Master Mishuno is a chatterbox, especially after drinking. As long as you say a word to him, he can chat with you all night long. Mishuno smiled slightly and took another sip of beer. In his eyes, if Tang Lin can become a soul master in the future, he will definitely achieve a lot. Anyway, he is much better than his naughty sister. Dadada, speak of the devil. At this time, there was a sound of footsteps in the corridor, and Tang Xiaomi ran out. Mom saw her mother cooking in the kitchen, called out, and immediately ran over to hug her mother. Yeah, Xiaomi, good girl, mom is busy, go find your brother to play. Li Rao kissed her on the cheek and smiled. Tang Xiaomi was very well behaved at this time. Knowing that her mother was busy, she hummed and ran out to the hall. Her eyes turned quickly, looking for Tang Lin. Tang Lin immediately squatted down and hid behind Mishuno. This girl is in a very good spirit every time she wakes up, full of motivation, and likes to pester him the most. He is really tired. At this time, I have to help my mother clean up the leftovers from the wine table. How can I have time to care about this girl? Maziuno glanced at Tang Xiaomi, shook his head and sighed. Tang Xiaomi came out like a tiger descending from the mountain, full of energy, and her big eyes were turning around. She was too lively. Soul masters cultivate their soul power by calming down and meditating. He felt that this little girl was so jumpy that, even if she could become a soul master, it would be difficult for her to achieve anything. Tang Xiaomi looked over from a distance, squatted down from time to sneak a few glances, and looked around from time to time. After looking around for several times, she found that her brother didn't seem to be here. She scratched her head with her little hand, uttered a light huff, and then seemed to think of something, and immediately ran home. Tang Lin sighed. Xiaolin, you have to take care of your sister in the future. You can't just leave her alone, because she is still young. You know, many habits are developed from childhood. Maziuno began to educate Tang Lin earnestly again. Yes, I understand, Grandpa Mishuno. What else could Tang Lin say? Mishuno was a great spirit master of the spirit hall, a guest of his family, and attracted many guests to the tavern. Of course, he could only nod politely in response. Seeing Tang Lin answering him obediently, he was very satisfied. He drank a few more sips of wine and began to talk about the spirit hall while eating peanuts. This year, our spirit hall has awakened the spirits of many children. Several villages nearby have also produced some talented children. Several of them have joined our spirit hall and are preparing to enter the spirit hall school to study. But Notting Academy is not bad either. It has received many good seedlings. There are more and more spirit masters on the mainland. Tang Lin, no matter where you are, you have to practice well in the future. Grandpa Mishuno is optimistic about you. Tang Lin knew that Master Mishuno was going to start a long speech again, so he quietly listened while wiping the table and responded to Mishuno from time to time. In the past few years, he could feel that the spirit hall was his belief, his life, and his everything to Mishuno. There were probably many people like Mishuno's grandfather in the spirit hall. The belief in their hearts was the spirit hall that awakened their spirits and trained them to become spirit masters when they were weak. But Tang Lin knew that the spirit hall would definitely perish in the future, so every time at this time, he felt mixed emotions and a faint sadness. It seemed to be for Mishuno in front of him, but it didn't seem to be. The spirit hall was destroyed just because of the wishes of a few leaders. Tang Lin couldn't help but feel a little regretful. Should the spirit hall really be destroyed? The high-level officials of the spirit hall should have been destroyed long ago. After all, they started to support places like the Killing City a long time ago, but those who didn't know the truth should not pay for the crimes committed by the high-level officials. Tang Lin also knew that he hadn't experienced it in person yet and was still very weak, so he just occasionally thought about it. He didn't need to think so much now. Usually, you just need to practice hard, accompany your parents to do housework when you have time, and take care of your naughty sister. The sky gradually darkened. Mizuno left after finishing his drink. At this time, Li Rao had already prepared the meal. Tang Lin, go and call them to come for dinner. Tang Lin returned home and found Tang Xiaomi still jumping upstairs, so he called out, "Xiaomi, come down to eat." For a long time, his sister did not respond to him. Upstairs was also quiet, and he knew that Tang Xiaomi was playing hide and seek with him again. Shaking his head, there was no way, who told her that she was his sister, and went upstairs patiently. Tang Lin walked into his room without any hesitation, opened the closet, and directly turned this silly girl out of the pile of clothes. Tang Xiaomi saw that her brother found her so quickly, pouted and snorted, feeling unhappy and a little confused. Tang Lin was speechless at the time. "You always hide here. How stupid you have to be to come to the tavern." Dad had already sat at the dinner table, and Wang Xiaoshu had also finished practicing and returned. The table was full of food. This meal included both rhinoceros meat and snake meat, but neither was cooked by Tang Lin in a frying pan, but by Li Rao. Tang Lin wanted to see how effective these rhinoceros meats would be without the bonus of his frying pan. After the meal, the taste was very good, but the rhinoceros meats did not have such a good effect. Tang Lin was not surprised, as this was expected. Now Tang Lin knew that, even if the rhinoceros meats were cooked for ordinary people, they would still have those effects, but the effects were not so obvious. But this was just right, because other people could not eat too much of the rhinoceros meats cooked in his frying pan, and they could not enjoy their food, but now they could. Tang Lin took out 100 kilograms of rhinoceros meat and gave it to his father. After all, his father was often on the road, and he could go home, even when he was at school, and he could leave enough rhinoceros meat for his mother to cook every day, so he didn't have to give it to his mother. After the family finished the meal, Tang Feng disappeared. Wang Xiaoshu wanted to stay and clean up the table, but Li Rao refused, so Tang Lin directly asked him to go back to read. Sister Rao. Not long after, a beautiful woman came to the door, holding a little boy of 7 or 8 years old in her hand, and a middle-aged man in a gorgeous formal suit next to her. Because Li Rao and several chefs are good at cooking, the food here is even better than those made by chefs in large hotels. After the beautiful woman came to eat once some time ago, she found that this place is very good, so she often comes here to eat these days. It turns out that Sister Hua is here. Sit down and ask for anything you need. Li Rao checked the flow of today at the counter and saw that it was an acquaintance who came, so she looked up and smiled. "Okay, you go ahead, it's okay." The beautiful woman smiled kindly and took her son to find an empty seat and sit down, and ordered food and wine from the waiter. But the middle-aged man frowned slightly. He is a soul master, and his wife said that the food here is very delicious, and he came here after his wife invited him several times. He was a distinguished soul master who condescended to visit your small tavern in a small alley, but he was so neglected that he was a little unhappy. Big Pigeon. Tang Xiaomi was particularly naughty. At this time, she couldn't go out, and Tang Lin didn't care about her. She could only play with Xiao Hei in the corner. Suddenly, she saw another big brother outside, so she ran towards him, wanting to play with the big brother. The little boy just sat down when he saw a fat-faced little girl running towards him. Her clothes were dirty and there was a little black dog behind her. He couldn't bear it, so he stood up and pushed Tang Xiaomi away. Get out of the way. Tang Xiaomi was pushed to the ground. Due to a little inertia, she couldn't sit still and rolled around. Her face looked very aggrieved. She looked at the position where her brother was just now. When she saw her brother running over, she couldn't help crying. PS. Please collect and recommend. Chapter 33. Not in college. 1. Be good, Xiaomi. Don't cry. If your big brother doesn't want to play with you, how about I play with you? Seeing his sister being pushed to the ground, Tang Lin immediately ran over, picked her up with both hands and comforted her. Xiao Fei, why are you becoming more and more ignorant? My sister is a girl, and she is so cute. How can you push her away? The beautiful woman frowned at that time. The boy snorted and turned his head aside. He was already a soul master. How could such a dirty person touch him casually? So he felt that he had done nothing wrong. Seeing that Tang Xiaomi was not injured, Tang Lin slowly stopped crying. To avoid making the atmosphere too awkward, he said, "It's okay, it's my sister. She's too naughty." Although the boy was a few years older than him, but in his eyes, they are just little kids. What do they know at this age? Fighting is normal. What's more, it was his own sister who acted recklessly, so there was no reason to blame others. Tang Xiaomi in Tang Lin's arms seemed to understand that his brother was talking bad about him, and he couldn't help but pouted and snorted angrily, seeming to blame Tang Lin, but his two little hands hugged him tighter. Tang Lin looked at her lovingly and smiled. This girl just needs to be taught a lesson. Otherwise she will continue to be so lawless every day, and she will suffer from it when she grows up. Xiaolin is still sensible. It would be great if Afia was half as sensible as you, said the beautiful woman. The boy was already a little aggrieved, but now that he heard his mother praising Tang Lin like this, he clenched his fists and looked at Tang and Lin, who were sitting on the chair comforting his sister, his eyes full of resentment. The middle-aged man coughed a few times, seeming to blame his wife for favoring other people's sons and belittling his own son. The beautiful woman, in turn, rolled her eyes at him. He was also a strict wife and did not dare to look at the beautiful woman. After Li Rao heard Xiaomi crying, she also stretched out her head to take a look. When she saw that she was lying in Tang Lin's arms and seemed to have stopped crying, she helplessly shook her head and smiled. "Mom, I'm taking Xiaomi home first." At this time, there were more and more customers in the tavern, so Tang Lin wanted to take his sister back first so as not to get in the way. "Well, you go back first," Li Ju said. Tang Lin put Tang Xiaomi down, then held her little fat hand and walked home. "Xiaomi, don't play with those big brothers and sisters you don't know anymore, you know?" Tang Lin slowly taught her on the way. Tang Xiaomi is usually too naughty and fearless. Whenever he sees little brothers or sisters, he will run up to play with them, regardless of whether he knows them or not. Tang Lin was a little helpless and didn't know how to teach her. "Oh, Xiaomi knows," Tang Xiaomi said. Tang Lin sighed. This answer was too casual. It would be great if you really knew. The next day. It's finally the day when not in college starts. Noting college is divided into a junior soul master academy and an intermediate soul master academy. The junior soul master academy has a 6-year system and has 6 grades in total. In the end, you must obtain 2 soul rings and reach the level of a great soul master before you can graduate from the junior soul master academy. There are about 40 people in each class. Tang Lin and Wang Xiaoshu were placed in the same class by the principal. They were both first year students aged 6 or 7. The first class of the second day. A young teacher walked into the classroom and the whole place became quiet. The teacher introduced, "My name is Zhu Xinggang, Wuhan Whip. I'm your class teacher. In the next 5 or 6 years, I will teach you how to become a true soul whip." teacher there was an inexplicable majesty as soon as the teacher opened his mouth, which made all the students feel a little in awe. Then he started talking about the school's rules of the game. If you comply, you'll be fine. If you don't, you'll be whipped by his whip. Finally, he looked at Tang Lin and Wang Xiaoshu with some dissatisfaction and began to announce they are the only two people in the class who have the privilege to not train or attend classes with the class. Others must obey the teacher's arrangements. If you want to have this kind of privilege, you must have extremely high talent and strong connections, and this will have a great impact on the face of the class teacher and other teachers. So this kind of privilege is rarely available in schools. It can be said that it is almost non-existent. Wow, they too actually don't have to take the teacher's class with us. They too are so awesome. As soon as the teacher announced Tang Lin, and Tang Lin were immediately worshipped by the other 38 kids in the class. There was a sigh of relief there. Listen to the head teacher. Tang Lin learned that as first year students, their daily practice was to run circles in the square and then learn to meditate. Most of the time in class, you will learn some basic knowledge, such as writing, drawing, etc. There will also be classes on history and geography, soul master classes, soul beast classes, etc. To Tang Lin, these are just child's play. He doesn't care. Fortunately, he has privileges. In the future, if he encounters classes he doesn't want to listen to, he can go to the playground to practice or go out of school to practice. Next is the self-introduction of the students. My name is Li Erden, Wuhan sword. Tang Lin was depressed. Isn't it nice to be called Li Dan? Why is there a 2 in the middle? Is it because of the sword? My name is Liu Eraya. The martial spirit is a snake. A girl with 2 pigtails stood up and whispered, my name is Wang Erzu, and my martial spirit is a stick. Tang Lin was speechless for a moment. These 3 people are from the same village. My name is A2, and my martial spirit is Xiang. My father said that I'm the hope of the whole village. A2 introduced himself with some pride. After everyone introduced themselves, it was Tang Lin's turn. Tang Lin sighed, went up and said his name, and then came down directly, taking the cold and aloof route. Then asked Wang Xiaoshu to come up. Wang Xiaoshu is 8 years old and 1 size larger than everyone here. After coming to the podium, he said according to what Tang Lin taught him, my name is Wang Xiaoshu, Wuhan Giteng. I just want to say that everyone here is a younger brother. The domineering Wang Xiaoshu's martial soul cannot be freely known to others, so he did not show his Wuhan. But the momentum of his speech is also domineering enough. Wang Xiaoshu's royal look made many little girls stare at him with wide eyes, full of admiration. On the first day, the 2 of them also attended class honestly, and Tang Lin experienced what it was like to go to school again. The so-called training class is just like the physical education class in the previous life. Playing games, running, or sitting down to meditate. After experiencing it, Tang Lin felt a little boring. This was a waste of time for him, so he decided to use his privileges and practice on his own. If there was no class he liked. As for Wang Xiaoshu, he didn't learn as much as Tang Lin, so he still had to take classes sometimes. Tang Lin let him choose according to his own situation. At dusk, Tang Lin and the 2 came to the school cafeteria. The cafeteria of Notting Junior Soul Master Academy has 2 floors. The first floor can be said to be a slum area, with cheaper food prices, while the second floor is more expensive. After eating the food on the first floor, Tang Lin came to the second floor. Here, he finally met the characters in the master's original work. Tang Lin had already met Tang Xiao, Tang Heo, and Tang San. The others I didn't see him, but now that he saw the master, he was in a particularly good mood. Without saying anything, he pulled Wang Xiaoshu directly towards the master's dining table. Chapter 34. Master's Shock. 2. The master is a medium-sized, slightly thin man about 52 years old. He has short black hair parted in 3s and 7s. He has a very ordinary appearance. He has a special temperament, and his eyes are open and closed with a bit of laziness and decadence. When someone passed by him just now, he also greeted him, which made Tang Lin sure that this man was the master. Excuse me, are you the master? Tang Lin came to the master's side and asked. Yes, I will say master. The master said calmly. Tang Lin immediately showed joy. Master, I have read your 10 core competences of martial arts written by you. Can I sit down and have a chat with you? The master put down the teacup that was about to reach his mouth, turned around and said with a smile, looking at your age, you just entered school yesterday, right? Can you write your own name now? Obviously, the master didn't believe what he said. Starter, a 6-year-old boy, who probably didn't even know a single character, actually said that he had read his 10 core competences of martial arts, and no one believed him. Master, one of your 10 core competences, the Wuhan mimicry theory, says that plant souls do not necessarily have to absorb the soul rings of plant soul beasts, and animal souls may not be unable to absorb plant soul rings. Under various conditions, under certain conditions, the two can absorb each other. Am I right? At the same time, Tang Lin dipped his finger in some water and wrote on the desktop, my name is Tang Lin. I need to ask the teacher for help if I have any questions. I hope the teacher can give me some advice. The master stood up in surprise. Tang Lin was right. This was exactly one of his theories. And I didn't expect that Tang Lin could write so many words at such a young age. Every word was very neat and beautiful, even more beautiful than the words written by some teachers. Has Tang Lin really read his book? What a genius. Okay, you are really a genius. I believe you have read my book. If you have any questions you want to ask me now, please tell me. The master couldn't calm down for a long time and said excitedly, Master, there are too many people here. Can you find a more secluded place? Tang Lin looked around and said, there are many people talking in the cafeteria here, so it's not appropriate to talk. The master nodded. Follow me. The master took them out of the cafeteria and towards the teaching building point, because there is an office on the first floor of the teaching building. That is the master's office. When did you start reading and writing? The master asked. I started learning to write when I was 2 years old. Because I'm interested in soul masters and soul beasts, I read many such books before school started, including your 10 core competences of martial arts by your master. 2 years old? Alas, no wonder you are so sensible at such a young age. Are your adults also teachers? The master asked. It is hard for everyone to imagine that a 2-year-old child can start learning to write and recognize. This is probably because some of the adults in the family are teachers. No, I learned it on my own. No one taught me. Tang Lin replied obediently. Then you are a genius. A few minutes later, they came to the master's office. After closing the door, the master asked him to tell the problem. Tang Lin signaled Wang Xiaoshu to release the martial spirit. Wang Xiaoshu was still a little worried, but Tang Lin nodded to him, saying that the master was a trustworthy person. Only then did Wang Xiaoshu release his martial spirit, Thousand Vine Gourd, which was a gourd formed by countless green vines. This is a mutated martial spirit. The master saw the martial spirit in Wang Xiaoshu's hand and exclaimed. Then, he saw the yellow century-old soul ring flashing at Wang Xiaoshu's feet. The master was even more surprised. You actually have a century-old soul ring at your age. That means your martial soul has mutated in a good direction. Xiaolin, pour a glass of wine for master. Tang Lin smiled. Wang Xiaoshu cooperated very well. He put a water glass on the master's table, poured a glass of wine from his Qianteng gourd, and handed it to the master. Master. The master was extremely shocked at this time. Wine could actually be poured out of this gourd. The master took out the wine glass and drank it slowly. This wine is sweeter than most wines I have ever drunk. It is undoubtedly a good wine. And after entering the body, I feel subtle energy fluctuations. This is definitely not an ordinary wine. Master, this is a question we want to ask you. Is Wang Xiaoshu's wine his second martial spirit? Tang Lin whispered. This wine and his Qianteng gourd martial spirit are completely different forms. They are definitely not the same martial spirit, so this should be his second martial spirit. Tang Lin. Wang Xiaoshu was immediately overjoyed. This is a food type martial spirit. If my guess is correct, your daily output of this wine should not be much. Now, is the spirit ring you attached to the gourd or the wine? Wang Xiaoshu nodded. My soul ring is attached to the wine gourd. Then don't add soul rings to this wine from now on until you reach the level of titled Douluo, and add all the soul rings of the gourd martial spirit before you add soul rings to this wine. The master said. Master, can I reach the realm of titled Douluo? Wang Xiaoshu said excitedly. In my theory, innate soul power is directly proportional to the quality of your awakened martial soul. Your two martial souls should have full innate soul power. Am I right? So with your talent, if you work hard, it should be no problem to reach titled Douluo. When Wang Xiaoshu heard this, he immediately beamed and was so happy that he couldn't help himself. Tang Lin asked again, Master, why are his two martial arts combined together? The master looked thoughtful and answered after a long time, this is also the first time I have encountered this situation. This may be because his two martial spirits are both mutated martial spirits. But there is nothing wrong with this. I'm afraid that in the future there's no guarantee that there will be unexpected surprises. The master was thinking that these two martial souls were so compatible that they might be able to use powerful martial soul fusion skills in the future. Tang Lin nodded. After all, the master is not omnipotent and cannot know everything. Regarding his martial arts, Tang Lin also wanted to communicate with the master before point, but now he knows enough, so there is no need to ask the master anymore. The most important thing today is to get to know the master, and by the way, confirm whether the wine in Wang Xiaoshu's good is his second martial spirit. Now that the questions he wanted to ask were basically clear, Tang Lin thanked the master. Thank you, master, for clearing up our doubts. I also hope that the master will keep it secret for us. Haha, don't worry. The master smiled. They chatted for a while. The master was really shocked by these two children. I met Wang Xiaoshu today and learned that his two martial spirits would definitely be of great help to his future theoretical research, so he was also very happy. Master, then we won't disturb you. It was getting late. Tang Lin saw that the conversation was almost finished, so he said. The master nodded. The two of them left the school and went home. Along the way, Wang Xiaoshu was extremely proud. Twin martial souls, the master told him that there were only two people in the history of Douluo continent, and he was the third person. No matter who they were, they would be proud of each other, not to mention he was just a child. Moreover, the master also said that he is very likely to reach the level of titled Douluo. What is the concept of titled Douluo? In his knowledge, there were only a few titled Douluo in the entire continent, so how could he be unhappy? Tang Lin was a little helpless. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35. Target, Nyan Soul Beast. 3. At night, Tang Lin felt that he had to give Wang Xiaoshu a little reminder, otherwise he would really float into the sky. Xiaoshu, don't be too proud. There are so many geniuses on Douluo continent, but how many of them can grow to the end? Master also told us today that there are many people on the road who are born with full soul power, but how many of them can eventually grow into a titled Douluo? So, if you want to become a strong person, you cannot just have talent. When Wang Xiaoshu heard this, he calmed down instantly, as if he had been given a slap in the face by Tang Lin. He nodded and fell silent. Tang Lin was right. He couldn't be happy too early. Now he might still face the pursuit of those men in black, so he had to work hard to practice. Thank you, Tang Lin. Wang Xiaoshu said sincerely. Go to bed early and don't get too excited. You have to get up early to practice tomorrow, Tang Lin said. Wang Xiaoshu was still very excited because after receiving the master's praise, he truly felt that he had real hope of avenging his family. Thinking of his family being brutally killed by the man in black, he clenched his fists and vowed to return to Yiking City in the Star Luo Empire one day to find the man in black and avenge his family. Time flies. 2 months have passed. Not in college. Look, that man is at the playground again. Doesn't he even have to go to class? The school teachers don't care either. I envy him so much because he doesn't have to go to class. I also want to go to the playground. Tang Lin exercises every day, both during class time and after class time. Everyone in the classroom can see the playground outside through the window, and many people are envious. However, in the eyes of some lower grade students, Tang Lin was just playing around. They think, why can Tang Lin go and play while we have to attend classes in the classroom? So they were unhappy about it. Every time Tang Lin appeared on the playground, he would attract a lot of attention, and the teacher who was in class was helpless. Do you think he is playing? He is practicing. Everyone, please listen carefully to me, or you will be punished by going out to stand. The teacher yelled. In fact, the teacher also loves and hates Tang Lin. Tang Lin is undoubtedly a genius in the college, but practicing outside every day will affect the learning of some students in the teaching building. However, the principal is Tang Lin's backstage. Even if many teachers are dissatisfied, they can only sigh helplessly. After training various events on the playground for more than 2 hours, Tang Lin ran to the back mountain of the Intermediate Soul Master Academy. There was a waterfall there. He used the waterfall to wash his body under the waterfall to build a strong body. He couldn't bear it at first, but after eating lynxy meat for 2 months, his body became more and more abnormal. Now, even under the wash of the 10-meter high waterfall, he couldn't feel much pain. His requirement for his second soul ring is at least 1,000 years, so in the past few months, he had tried every means to rapidly enhance all aspects of his body's functions. To be on the safe side, even though he felt that his current body strength was enough to absorb a 1,000-year soul ring, he still decided to practice for another month before obtaining his second soul ring. Xiaoshu, it's time to go to the back mountain. At the end of get out of class, Tang Lin came to Wang Xiaoshu's classroom and shouted. Wang Xiaoshu passed the monthly exam and is no longer a first-year student. He is now in a 3rd grade class. His strength has already reached the 5th or 6th grade level, but his education is to low point, so now he spends half of his time studying various cultural knowledge arranged by the school, and the other half of his time practicing with Tang Lin. So every time the waterfall washed over his body, Tang Lin would ask him to come with him. After all, he also needs a strong body to absorb the soul rings of higher years. It is good. In the envious eyes of the whole class, Wang Xiaoshu put on his school bag and left the classroom. This was where he had been in class this morning. Noting Intermediate Soul Master Academy is larger than Junior Soul Master Academy, and it is not in a town, but in the suburbs of Notting City. The two of them ran to the waterfall in the back mountain, took off their inner armor, and stood naked on the stone slab under the waterfall. The stone slabs were slippery, and they couldn't stand at all at first, but now they were able to stand firmly on it despite being washed by the waterfall. This not only built his physical strength, but also their balance and control. Feeling the pain in his body, Wang Xiaoshu gritted his teeth tightly. The stone slab he was standing on was higher than Tang Lin's. Logically speaking, the blow he received was much smaller than Tang Lin's, but his body's strength was not at the same level as Tang Lin's, so he didn't look as calm and composed as Tang Lin. He could only open his hands and try hard to control himself so as not to be swept away by the waterfall. But Tang Lin was not idle under the waterfall. He kept waving the pan above the waterfall until he got tired, then sat down to meditate and circulate the soul power in his body. As if the waterfall hitting him had no force at all, he just sat quietly like this. At this moment, Wang Xiaoshu couldn't stand it any longer. He jumped from the platform into the water, then dived under the water, and took out a stone, held it on his head, and started swimming exercises. This is also the training program established by Tang Lin. Swimming in the water can exercise muscles in many parts of the body. Holding heavy stones can increase the difficulty of practice and achieve better results. After Wang Xiaoshu exhausted all his soul power and went to shorter rest, Tang Lin slowly opened his eyes. At the master's place, he read the master's research on meditation practice, which included many practice methods, which benefited him a lot. He found that, if he could calm down and meditate under pressure, it would be of great help in improving his soul power. Glancing at Wang Xiaoshu lying on the shore, Tang Lin shook his head and asked him to sit down and practice with him. He said he couldn't bear it. After practicing for less than 2 hours, he was already exhausted. However, it can also be felt that Wang Xiaoshu is also growing day by day. Although it is much slower than himself, it is already very fast compared to most people. Tang Lin stood up, stretched out, and jumped into the water. A splash woke up Wang Xiaoshu on the shore. He looked at the water and saw Tang Lin floating up for a long time. However, he did not panic and thought to himself, this kid is going to move a huge boulder again. Wow. Sure enough, Tang Lin lifted a heavy stone out of the water and played with it like a toy. Wang Xiaoshu secretly called him abnormal. After the time was almost up, Tang Lin threw the stone up and said, walk back and eat. On the way home for dinner, I will pass by Notting Slaughterhouse Point. After Tang Lin's appearance last time, the Shagao family no longer dared to take action against the Liang family, and the Liang family was extremely grateful to Tang Lin. Every time Tang Lin passed by here and met the Liang family's servants, he would politely greet the 6-year-old boy. Tang Lin nodded and licked the box. Every time you pass by, you will get dozens or hundreds of boxes of energy. If you pass by several times a day, you will get a total of about 300 to 400 boxes of energy point. Therefore, Tang Lin was particularly fond of people like the Liang family. When he returned home, Tang Lin cooked for his family himself. His mother would not stop him at all and was just waiting for him to come back to cook. Tang Xiaomi was already waiting at the dinner table with chopsticks. Apart from Tang Lin, Tang Xiaomi ate the most of the spiritual beast meat made by Tang Lin. This made Tang Lin begin to doubt the physique of this silly girl. After returning to the room after eating, Tang Lin opened his property panel. Chapter 36. 8 shots in a circle. 4. Tang Lin opened the properties panel. Host, Tang Lin. Soul power, level 20. Gong for skill, none. Box energy, 25,098 points. Backpack, Eternal Diamond Level Lottery X8, a drop of Pseudo Dragon Essence and Blood, Lynxie Inner Armor X3, Spirit Snake Armor X5, a 2000 Thunder Dragon Soul Ring, a Soul Master Experience card, a Soul Sect Experience card, Lynxie Beast. Looking at the attribute panel, Tang Lin was very satisfied. I have never experienced the Soul Master Soul Sect experience card or anything like that until now. Tang Lin began to lament that the security in Notting City was really good. For so long, he had not encountered any Soul Masters bullying civilians in Notting City, leaving him, a righteous warrior, with no chance to take action. During this period of practice, I also licked the boxes. Currently, there are more than 5,000 boxes. Platinum 10 draws in a row. Tang Lin thought silently in his heart. Ding. Successfully consumed energy points and performed 10 platinum draws in a row. The turntable rotated, and the 10 small hands also rotated rapidly. The items next to it were still unclear. Tang Lin was a little skeptical that this version of the system was too profitable. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill 18 beats of the encirclement, a 10,000-year-old man-faced demon spider soul ring, and a Soul King experience card. Gunfa. It turns out that there are also exercises in the system prizes. 18 shots in a circle? Isn't this a technique created based on my pan system? That is so awesome. The soul ring of the 10,000-year-old soul beast and the human-faced demon spider is not suitable for me, but it can give Wang Xiaoshu an advantage. Although there are only 3 prizes, spending point boxes to get a 10,000-year soul ring is already a huge profit, let alone a technique. I just don't know how this technique is. If it can rival Haoshin's magical skill, the Great Sumeru Hammer, it will be a huge profit. Tang Lin's thoughts moved, and the technique 18 beats in the circle appeared in his mind point. When he opened it, he saw a few lines of words that shocked him. The 18 patterns of the encirclement, also known as the 18 patterns of subduing the dragon. If you practice to an advanced level, you can even make a real dragon stunned. Fuck it, you bastard. Although I don't know how powerful the real dragon is, but think about it, it should be at least stronger than the title Douluo, right? What the hell is this, if it's not a magical skill? At the same time, the system prompt sounded in his mind. Ding. I would like to ask the host if I can spend points in the box to activate the 18 beats of encirclement technique. Light up. What is this operation? With excitement, questions and other emotions, Tang Lin answered the system at the center. Yes. After all, 5,000 points in a box is not a lot for him now, and he can still afford it. Ding. Congratulations to the host for consuming points of box energy and successfully igniting the skill 18 beats in the circle. Tang Lin found that the skill column on his attribute panel became a little different. Exercise skills. 18 beats in the circle plus. Does lighting up mean that the exercises are displayed on the exercise column? There is an extra plus sign after the exercise, which is easy to understand. It should be, when you practice to the point where you don't understand, just click on the plus sign. Now there is a little more than one box is left. Tang Lin gritted his teeth and clicked the plus sign directly, no matter how much he said. 18 shots in the circle first floor. The number of boxes can be reduced by, in an instant. The plus sign then dimmed. Tang Lin suddenly had many fancy combat skills in his mind, and he knew they were skills. And it's the fighting skill of a frying pan. After spending point boxes to cultivate the technique to the first level, Tang Lin didn't know whether he was losing money or making money. Anyway, he just felt that he was stronger now. Silent all night. The next day, we went to the waterfall. Tang Lin performed the moves one by one according to the skills in his mind, in order to speed up his familiarity with the skills. Gradually, he discovered that the power of this technique was extremely powerful, and each move was more powerful than the last point. Even the water washed down by a waterfall of more than 10 meters can be rolled up. Lin, what are those moves of yours? They are weird, but they seem to be quite powerful. Wang Xiaoshu looked dazzled from the side. These are martial arts and combat skills. Even if you don't understand them, practice them quickly. Tang Lin said. Wang Xiaoshu had no choice but to jump into the water and start freestyle swimming. Tang Lin was humming and working hard on it. At the same time, he could improve his arm strength and so on, making him more and more motivated. After waving for more than half an hour, Tang Lin's arms became weak and his soul power was almost exhausted. However, he felt that he was completely familiar with the first level of the technique, and he was very happy in his heart. Tang Lin jumped down, did 2 somersaults in the air, and then fell into the water with a plop. There weren't even big waves on the water. Wang Xiaoshu on the shore was stunned for a while. Tang Lin is becoming more and more flashy now. Wang Xiaoshu, where is Tang Lin? Suddenly, 2 figures appeared not far away. Ma Xiaofui, why did you come here? Wang Xiaoshu asked in surprise. Among the 2 figures, one was named Ma Xiaofui, a classmate of Thiz, but shouldn't he be at school at this time? Why did he come here? Let me ask you, where is Tang Lin? Ma Xiaofui asked arrogantly, looking condescending. Why are you looking for him? Wang Xiaoshu asked. Ma Xiaofui didn't find it strange that he knew Tang Lin and Wang Xiaoshu. After all, the 2 of them were relatively well known in the Notting Junior Soul Master Academy, especially Tang Lin. What's more, Tang Lin would go to his class to look for him from time to time, so everyone in the class basically knew Tang Lin. Just listening to Ma Xiaofui's tone, it seemed like he was coming with bad intentions, especially the tall man behind him, who was probably around 1.7 or years old, but was actually meters tall. The look in his eyes was also very unkind. Didn't Tang Lin come here with you? Why are you the only one here? Ma Xiaofui looked around and found no trace of Tang Lin. Whoa, just as Wang Xiaoshu was about to speak, there was a sound on the water surface, and Tang Lin emerged from the water carrying a big stone. This stone must have weighed about 50 or 60 pounds. This scene shocked Ma Xiaofui. Is this kid a monster? No, Tang Lin is right here, Wang Xiaoshu said. Just now he was shouting loudly to find Tang Lin, but now he was suddenly speechless. When Tang Lin saw them, he immediately put down the stone and went ashore. He knew this Ma Xiaofui, and he had bullied Xiaomi before. What's going on? You're looking for me? Tang Lin asked with a sideways glance. Ma Xiaofui was directly frightened by Tang Lin's aura, and then turned his head to look at the tall man behind him. The tall man nodded to him, and then he felt relieved and said, yes, I'm here to find you. Tang Lin, come here, I want to beat you. Damn it, is this guy mentally ill? Tang Lin was speechless. He has a grudge against you? Wang Xiaoshu asked curiously. He didn't know about Ma Xiaofui pushing down Tang Xiaomi in the tavern, so he thought the 2 of them had nothing to do with each other. HMPH. Come here quickly, and let me beat you up, or I will beat you up with my brother, believe it or not, Ma Xiaofui said with his hands on his hips and his nostrils pointed in the sky. Last time in the tavern, he was greatly wronged because of the Tang Lin brothers. Today he came to take revenge. With his brother here, He is not afraid, no matter how powerful Wang Xiaoshu is. As for Tang Lin, there is no need to be afraid. He is only 6 years old now, and is still a first year student. He probably needs to be stronger to carry the stone. But even so, he can't beat me, a powerful soul master. Ma Xiaofei is very confident in himself. He felt that Tang Lin didn't even dare to make a move with him. Wang Xiaoshu smiled. Tang Lin shook his head and motioned for him to step aside, otherwise it would be bad if he accidentally hurt his teammates later. Ma Xiaofei thought Tang Lin was going to come over and beat him up, so he smiled brightly, as did his brother behind him. Unexpectedly, Tang Lin walked up to him and said directly, "Are you really mentally ill?" Chapter 37. The power of 8 beats in the circle. Ma Xiaofei's eyes widened. He wondered if he heard it wrong. How dare this kid scold me? Don't want to die. Tang Lin, what did you say? Ma Xiaofei clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. The tall man behind him also frowned. It didn't matter that Tang Lin didn't take his brother seriously, but he didn't even take him seriously. He felt that he had been greatly insulted, and he had to teach this kid a lesson, no matter what today. Didn't you hear what I said? You asked me to come over and beat you up. Are you afraid that your brain is flooded? Tang Lin said disdainfully. Tang Lin, last time in the tavern, I was scolded by my mother because of you. Now you insult me like this. Then don't blame me for bullying the younger. Ma Xiaofei said angrily, releasing his martial soul and soul ring at the same time. It's okay if you don't mention what happened last time. Now that you have mentioned it, I will make you pay the price for bullying my sister. Tang Lin said. Insanity. Ma Xiaofei is only 8 years old now, but he already has a century-old soul ring and has become a true soul master. In his opinion, it was impossible for 6-year-old Tang Lin to possess a soul ring. The fact that he is still in first grade is a good proof of that. Unfortunately, he didn't know that Tang Lin had been practicing hard, so he didn't take those exams seriously, let alone which grade he was in. Tang Lin smiled slightly and released his martial spirit. Haha, it turns out your martial spirit is a frying pan. No wonder no one knows what your martial spirit is all this time. Tang Lin, you have the courage to be arrogant in front of me, even though you are a hot-blooded martial spirit. Who gave you the courage? Seeing Tang Lin's Pan Wuhan, Ma Xiaofei immediately smiled. His brother also shook his head, looking disappointed. It's too embarrassing to show off this kind of martial spirit. Wang Xiaoshu watched with great interest, as if he wanted to start a fight quickly. Tang Lin rolled his eyes at him. That tall guy at the back, won't you go up with him? Tang Lin asked playfully. HMPH, I'm a powerful soul master and I can't deal with you? Did you see this bright yellow soul ring at my feet? Do you know that this is a century-old soul ring? Ma Xiaofei laughed. The first soul ring is a century-old soul ring, and Ma Xiaofei is very proud. He thought to himself, even if you Tang Lin has strange powers, but I have a 100-year soul ring, how can you be my opponent? Tang Lin had just been practicing the skill of frying pan, 18 beats in the circle, but now it was just the right time to try it out with the two of them. Therefore, his soul ring was not released. When Wang Xiaoshu saw that Tang Lin didn't release the soul ring, he was going to fight with him directly with a frying pan. He suddenly became worried. He knows that Tang Lin is powerful, but if you don't use soul skills, wouldn't you be a little bit distracted? You have a good talent. It's a pity that you have no brains. Tang Lin said. When Tang Lin saw the pale yellow soul ring at his feet, he immediately knew that it could not be more than 200 years old. He felt that his martial arts should be able to surpass the soul skills of a 200-year-old soul ring. Ma Xiaofei was furious. Tang Lin scolded him repeatedly for being brainless right in front of him, and he finally couldn't bear it anymore. Tang Lin, you forced me to do this, brother. The tall man at the back nodded and looked down at Tang Lin. You have always spoken at a young age and insulted my brother in front of me several times. We will teach you a lesson today. I heard that you have strange powers and your body is stronger than ordinary people. I wonder if you can withstand my fist. Ma Yaoqian, the martial spirit grizzly bear. Level 21 second ring battle spirit master. Ma Xiaofei, the martial spirit grizzly bear. The 11th level and 1 ring battle spirit master. The two men were directly possessed by martial arts spirits, and they looked like they were about to come up and beat Tang Lin violently. Wang Xiaoshu stood up. They have an 8-year-old soul master and a teenage soul master bullying a 6-year-old Tang Lin. Isn't this too shameless? Tang Lin shook his head at him and said that now was the time for him to show off and slap himself in the face, and he didn't need Wang Xiaoshu's help. Wang Xiaoshu thought for a while, then I can just watch from the side. If he can't beat him, I'll help him. If he really can't beat him, then let's run together, even if they can't catch up. Seeing Wang Xiaoshu stand up and sit down again, Ma Xiaofei and Ma Xiaofei smiled proudly. He knew he couldn't beat Wang Xiaoshu, but now that his brother was here, he had confidence in front of Wang Xiaoshu. The two Ma brothers looked at each other and immediately looked at Tang Lin, intending to rush over and beat him. Tang Lin immediately asked them to stop. Wait a minute, I have something else to say. It's too late to think of begging for mercy now. Begging for mercy? You really want to eat shit? Let me make it clear first. I agree with your behavior of bullying the weak. At least you are much smarter than the people from the silly dog family I met before. But everything has accidents. If something unexpected happens, you have to bear the consequences of redemption yourself. Ma Xiaofei didn't care what Tang Lin said. He raised his fist and rushed forward using his first soul skill. He wanted to beat Tang Lin into a bear and make Tang Lin regret going against him. Tang Lin didn't have any inner armor on his body, so he just took a few steps back to avoid it. It's not that he's afraid of this kid, but he's worried about his brother. After all, he is a great soul master with 200-year soul rings, and his physical fitness is no longer on the same level as that of a soul master. Ma Xiaofei missed the target and rushed towards Tang Lin again. Tang Lin was much more agile than him, so he took a few steps back. Seeing that his brother had no intention of rushing forward, Tang Lin grinned. Are you looking down on me? Then don't blame me. Facing Ma Xiaofei, who was blinded by hatred and rushed towards him recklessly, Tang Lin stopped his feet, put his left hand on the ground, and swept over with both feet. PFFT. Ma Xiaofei was thrown to the ground, and at the same time, Tang Lin quickly picked up the pan and slapped him on the head. With the blessing of the exercises, he felt that Ma Xiaofei was like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered in his eyes, with no power to fight back. Bang! Ma Xiaofei had just fallen to the ground, and before he could react, Tang Lin slapped him on the head with a pot, and then he flew down in front of his brother. Tang Lin knew that Ma Xiaofei was not his opponent, but his brother was the master. Therefore, this attack used a lot of force, trying to kill one person first, and then use all his strength to deal with his brother. Sure enough, Ma Xiaofei fainted as soon as he landed, without any voice, let alone the ability to resist. Tang Lin scratched his head. After all, Ma Xiaofei was also an extremely powerful beast spirit soul master. His physical fitness was much stronger than that of ordinary people. Why couldn't he withstand his beatings? Is this masked 18 shots so powerful? Xiaofei. Ma Yaogan panicked and shouted. But I couldn't wake up this younger brother. Tang Lin. Ma Yaogan shouted angrily. Don't worry, he was just stunned by my frying pan. As I said just now, you have to bear the consequences yourself. Tang Lin said with a smile. Ma Yaoqian's eyes showed fear, but Tang Lin didn't look afraid of him at all. Moreover, he knocked out his martial soul possessed brother with just one move. His strength is definitely not that simple. Looking at his unconscious brother, he regretted not rushing forward with his brother just now. Ma Yaoqian slowly stood up and looked at Tang Lin. He knew that he could never underestimate the boy in front of him again. Tang Lin, I'm going to make you pay the price. Chapter 38. Such a fast hand speed. Tang Lin felt that Ma Xiaofei bullied his sister, and beating him like this was already a kindness to him. Faced with Ma Yaoqian's threat, he said nothing, because he was already ready to fight. He hasn't had a serious fight with anyone for so long. He doesn't worry about the tall man in front of him at all. He just hopes that he won't let himself down too much. The first soul skill, the bone-breaking bare hand. In the blink of an eye, Ma Yaoqian rushed in front of Tang Lin, stretched out his generous bare paw, and attacked Tang Lin. Ma Yaogan, possessed by the martial spirit, was more powerful than the current Tang Lin in terms of physical strength and speed. Tang Lin knew that he had no inner armor. If he was caught by his bear's paw, he would be injured, even if he was strong. But Tang Lin didn't panic at all, which instead inspired his boundless fighting spirit. Today's battle with Ma Yaogan is my first battle in Douluo continent. Seeing that he was about to be caught by Ma Yaoqian's big hand, Tang Lin immediately released his soul ring, put a little more force on his feet, and quickly retreated to the side. Tang Lin was still relatively short at 6 years old, while Ma Yaoqian was 1.7 meters tall and clumsy, so Tang Lin escaped from him very cleverly. Seeing Tang Lin's flashing yellow century-old soul ring, Ma Yaogan paused and frowned. It turned out that this guy was also a soul master. Can a waste martial soul like a frying pan be cultivated into a soul master? He is only 6 years old. How come he has a century-old soul ring? Ma Yaoqian looked at Tang Lin blankly, confused but he knew that Tang Lin was just pretending to be a pig and eating the tiger. No wonder Ma Xiaofei can be eliminated in one go. Brother, he is too careless. HMPH. So what if you have a 100-year soul ring? There is still a huge gap between you and me. Do you think you can fight against me? Ma Yaoqian was also a person with a simple mind and well-developed limbs. He had no idea what it meant for a 6-year-old boy to possess a century-old soul ring. The wise man had already apologized and left by this time. And he's obviously not a smart guy. There is indeed a gap between you and me, but it's definitely not as big as you think. Tang Lin smiled. Tang Lin knew that 200-year soul rings meant that Ma Yaoqian had 2 powerful soul skills. This was indeed far different from his 100-year soul ring, and it was not something he could eat with the spirit beast meat he had in 2 months. Can make up for it. Besides, he is still a beast spirit. The beast spirit master is already stronger than the weapon spirit master in the early stage, and Ma Yaoqian's spirit is the relatively powerful beast spirit grizzly bear. So Tang Lin didn't underestimate Ma Yaogan. Tang Lin. Wang Xiaoshu also wanted to come over and help at this time. After all, the Great Soul Master was still too powerful for Tang Lin. But Tang Lin stopped him with Wang Xiaoshu's help. He believed they could defeat Ma Yaoqian. Because Control Soul Masters are already powerful, they can even challenge higher and higher levels. But Tang Lin wanted to have a hearty battle and test his strength through Ma Yaoqian. Then be careful. Wang Xiaoshu had no choice but to say, Tang Lin, are you very proud? When Ma Yaoqian saw that Tang Lin actually refused Wang Xiaoshu's help, he felt that Tang Lin was too arrogant. Tang Lin smiled slightly. I don't need to be proud when facing you. The first soul skill is to throw the blame away. Ma Yaoqian was only 2 or 3 meters away from him. He did not hesitate and directly used his first soul skill to test Ma Yaoqian's true strength. First point, Ma Yaoqian is a fighting soul master. Before you understand his true strength, it is better not to engage in close combat with him. Facing the pan thrown by Tang Lin, Ma Yaogan didn't hold it up and immediately used his first soul skill to catch the pan with his bare hands. Dang. 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 The small pan hit his big bare paw, making a clanging sound. The shock made his hands numb. He had no idea that Tang Lin's first soul skill would be so powerful, which made him unable to resist for a while. Although his cultivation talent is not as high as that of his younger brother Ma Xiaofei, his physical fitness is much better than his younger brother, so his first soul ring is already close to 400 years old. I didn't expect that my powerful beast spirit and this nearly 400-year-old soul skill would be unable to withstand Tang Lin's first soul skill. Although he was extremely horrified, could he show it to Tang Lin? It's obviously impossible. Doesn't this make others' ambitions destroy one's own prestige? So he could only hold on and laugh. Why is your first soul skill so weak? Is this your true strength? Tang Lin chuckled. If I hadn't seen your poor acting skills, I would have believed it. You are another person who wants to save face and suffer. But Tang Lin didn't expose him. He just threw a few pots to test the situation, and he could indeed resist. Do you want to see my true strength? Tang Lin raised the corner of his mouth and began to exert his strength. Whoa. The speed of throwing the pot was getting faster and faster, one after another, making Wang Xiaoshu beside him dazzled. Ma Yaoqian felt a little uncomfortable. 2 bare paws quickly knocked down Tang Lin's frying pan. Tang Lin's actions suppressed him so much that he couldn't get close to Tang Lin. The intensity and speed of Tang Lin's blame shifting became stronger and faster, and Ma Yaoqian became more and more strenuous. Is Tang Lin so fucking crazy? Fortunately, he has level 21 soul power and a strong body, so he can barely take over Tang Lin's blame. But his heart was already extremely shocked. Tang Lin's hand speed was so terrifying. How did he develop this hand speed? After all scapegoats in an instant, Tang Lin finally stopped. Keeping blaming others like this was not an option. It would consume too much soul power, and his big bear paw is also very strong, and he can always catch it. I didn't expect you to have very fast hands at such a young age, Ma Yaogan said with a smile. Even though his hands were shaking violently behind his back, he still looked extremely confident and calm. On the surface point it was as if Tang Lin's first soul skill had caused no harm to him. Your hand speed is pretty good too. Tang Lin couldn't see that he was struggling a bit now, but he hadn't used his second soul skill. Was he hoping to use it unexpectedly later? Ma Yaoqian stopped talking nonsense and charged forward with his soul skills. He had to fight in close combat to use his soul skills to cause damage to Tang Lin. But he found that Tang Lin's speed was basically the same as him, or even faster than him. Coupled with Tang Lin's exquisite body and devilish footwork, he couldn't catch Tang Lin at all. Moreover, Tang Lin would throw 1 or 2 pans over from time to time, which was quite powerful. Point. It's okay if you can catch it, but if you fail to catch it accidentally, you will be injured. Looking at Tang Lin, who was less than 2 or 3 meters away from him, his eyes were extremely angry and his heart was already itching with anger. Tang Lin was very satisfied with his appearance. He was deliberately angry like this. After this period of training, Tang Lin's endurance and physical strength have been greatly enhanced, and his level, soul power has become extremely powerful. However, because I had just practiced under the waterfall, my soul and physical strength were very low, so I have been recovering since I came ashore. Now he has to continue to consume Ma Yaogan's physical and soul power in this way to avoid a head-on confrontation with him. By the time he has almost recovered, Ma Yaogan should have been almost exhausted. That is the best time for him to take action. PS. In my spare time, I can only update a maximum of 2 times a day, and sometimes I may not be able to update more, but I will make up for it later. Noobers don't understand anything, so please forgive me. Not much to say, there is no class tonight. Let's continue coding out a chapter tomorrow. By the way, please collect it and ask for recommendation votes. Chapter 39. Another confused person. Wang Xiaoshi was quite worried about Tang Lin before. After all, Tang Lin had just come out of the water, his soul and physical strength were not in the best condition, and he still had to face a fighting spirit master. Just think about it. But now it seemed that Tang Lin and Ma Yaogan were chasing after each other, but in fact it was Tang Lin who was playing tricks on Ma Yaogan. His heart was shocked by Tang Lin again. He thought he already knew enough about how powerful Tang Lin was, but he didn't expect that he still underestimated the pervert Tang Lin. Tang Lin, I admit that I can't run as fast as you, but do you dare to stop and fight me? Ma Yaogan couldn't bear it anymore and decided not to chase him. If he kept running any longer, he would die from exhaustion. Tang Lin felt that he couldn't stop at this time, so he turned around and started throwing the pan in his hand at him. Ma Yaoqian felt that he was working too hard. He had nowhere to use his soul skills in front of Tang Lin, and now he could only take Tang Lin's frying pan. Gradually, he found that his physical strength, soul power, etc. were slowly declining, but Tang Lin was like a normal person. Not only was he not tired, but the force of the pan he threw became stronger every time. How is this even going to be played? Tang Lin ran, but he couldn't catch up. Tang Lin stopped to throw the blame away, but he couldn't get close to Tang Lin. This was the first time Ma Yaoqian encountered such a situation in his life, which made him feel an extremely strong sense of frustration. His heart was filled with anger, and he no longer used his hands to resist Tang Lin's pan, and said in a low voice, the second soul skill, Black Bear Body Protection. After using the second soul skill, his body became stronger, as if possessed by a grizzly bear, and his muscles were clearly exposed. At the same time, his whole body was covered with a yellow protective film that looked like a bear, blocking Tang Lin's pan from hitting his body at all. His second soul ring was obtained by hunting a 700-year-old defensive soul beast, so Tang Lin couldn't break through the soul skill no matter what. Hahaha, Ma Yagan smiled brightly. Tang Lin stopped holding the pan in his hand. After knowing that it did not cause much harm to him, he decided not to waste his soul power in vain. Black Bear's martial soul was already extremely defensive, and now that he had a defensive soul skill that was hundreds of years old, there was nothing he could do against him. If you give me spiritual beast meat for a few more months, maybe I can break through his defense. It's just not possible now. Tang Lin found that he had overestimated his own strength and underestimated the power of the spirit of Grizzly Bear. But it's not the last moment yet. He still has 18 shots left in the circle that he hasn't used yet. What's wrong? You stopped. Why don't you continue to blame me? Hahaha, Ma Yagan was very proud, but he didn't attack point. He needs to regain his strength now before he can catch up with Tang Lin and beat him up. Tang Lin smiled disdainfully and started to drift off now. At the same time, he quickly calculated in his mind what chance he would have of winning. His physical fitness should not be as strong as Ma Yaogan, who is now possessed by the martial spirit, but his speed, endurance and physical strength are stronger than him. I don't know if the shot mask can break his grizzly bear shaped protective shield. If it can be broken, it means that his second soul skill is useless to him. It's useless to think too much. The only way is to try it up close. Of course, Tang Lin cherishes his body and life very much. If there is nothing he can do, he has no choice but to use the Soul Master experience card to torture K. Ma Yaogan, do you think I have no power to fight back in close combat? Since you want to fight in close combat, come on. Let me show you Grandpa's invincible super frying pan. Tang Lin laughed loudly, swung 7 or 8 pans over to cover, and rushed forward with the pans in hand. Just in time. Tang Lin wanted to take the initiative to fight with him personally, which was exactly what he wanted. Rushing forward, Tang Lin quickly swung several pots at his eyes, blocking his sight, while using a circle of 18 slaps to attack between his legs. Boom. Actually useless. His protective aura protects the entire body. Boy, you are too shady. Ma Yaoqian was furious and used his first soul skill to grab Tang Lin. Tang Lin picked up the frying pan and slapped his palm hard. With a pop sound, his bear's paw became red and swollen. His first soul skill was obviously no match for Tang Lin's 18 beats. Although this technique is only the first level, it should not be underestimated. Otherwise it would not be possible to knock Ma Xiaofei unconscious with one blow. Tang Lin jumped, turned around and was already behind him, and immediately slapped his butt again. When there was a crisp sound after the collision, but he was still fine. Tang Lin retreated quickly again. It seems that he is not strong enough. He has to build up his strength and strike with all his strength to break through his defense. Tang Lin thought secretly in his heart. Are you a monkey? How do you know how to run? Even when Tang Lin attacked, he couldn't do anything to Tang Lin. You can imagine how angry he was. Without heavy armor, Tang Lin was much faster than him, so he could play tricks on him before. Now he didn't want to waste his energy chasing Tang Lin, so he could only curse. He knew that he could only attack Tang Lin now if he waited for Tang Lin to take the initiative to attack him and then found a way to seize the opportunity. At the same time, he was also secretly frightened. The places Tang Lin attacked were all his vital parts. If he didn't have defensive soul skills, wouldn't he be in trouble? Moreover, Tang Lin first threw out a few pans to block his field of vision before moving. Tang Lin is only 6 years old. Does he already have so much combat experience? What a monster, so perverted. While he was thinking wildly, Tang Lin was ready to attack him with all his strength, trying to break through his defense. Recommended reading / for some reason, he always felt palpitated by Tang Lin's attack. This made him take the charging Tang Lin more seriously. But no matter how serious he was, it was useless. After Tang Lin dodged a few times, he directly attacked his waist. With a full blow, his protective aura was instantly shattered. Ma Yaoqian panicked. How is this possible? This is not Tang Lin's soul skill at all. Why is it so powerful? It's just a random pot, but it's more powerful than a soul skill. What he didn't know was that this was no simple pot. Tang Lin seized the opportunity when he was stunned and used the 18 pats in the circle again. hitting him on the head with one pot. Oh. My Yaoqian landed on the ground. Okay. Tang Lin, it turns out you are so powerful. Wang Xiaoshu breathed a sigh of relief and said with a smile. It's okay, just average. Tang Lin looked like a lonely master, with his hands behind his back point out of the corner of his eye. He secretly observed Ma Yaogan lying on the ground. Maybe it was because after being possessed by the martial spirit, he was already stronger, or maybe it was because Tang Lin's second pot no longer had the same strength as before, so he didn't faint after falling to the ground. After slowly getting up, he looked left and right, his body swaying. Hey, what's going on? Why are there so many stars? Oh. After saying that, he fell down directly and was confused again. They're fine, let's go back. Seeing Wang Xiaoshu's worried look, Tang Lin smiled. After today's battle, Tang Lin had a certain understanding of his own strength and laid a solid foundation for pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger in the future. At the same time, he also lamented how powerful this black bear martial spirit was. Whether it was strength, speed, or especially defense, it was extremely excellent. Fortunately, I'm better, but if it was someone else, I would be completely abused. This battle also gave him some new ideas about his second soul ring. Chapter 40. Target, Star Forest. Not in college. During the break, Tang Lin lay on the table and thought seriously about life. Tang Lin, I heard that you beat up a senior named Ma Xiaofei from the second class of the third grade. Is this true? Liu Error also lay on the table, looking at Tang Lin with watery eyes and asked, how did you know? Tang Lin said, ZHU quietly told me yesterday. Ma Xiaofei is already famous because of you. He skipped class 2 days ago and was scolded by the teacher. He said that he couldn't come to school because you beat him up. He also asked the teacher to punish you together. At the table next door, Atu also said, it turned out to be like this, but what happened after that? I heard that the teacher punished you by cleaning the classroom for a month. Haha, you are so powerful, you can even beat the big brother in the third grade. Araya said with admiration. Tang Lin sighed. He couldn't stay in this classroom any longer, so he should go out and continue practicing. Dad said that I'm the hope of the whole village. With Tang Lin so powerful, I don't know if there is any hope for our village. R2 sighed as he looked at Tang Lin's figure. The second class of the third grade. Xiaohe, can I treat you to knotting food for dinner? Ma Xiaofei said with a sincere face. Of course he doesn't understand love at this age. Just because Xiaohe is the most beautiful and cutest girl in the class, and she is also the coldest girl. He felt that if Xiaohe could play with him, he would be very proud. Hey, look, isn't that cute little brother Tang Lin? He's here to see Wang Xiaoshu again. I heard that they go out to practice every day. They are really amazing. No wonder Ma Xiaofei is not his opponent. Ma Xiaofei. The young lady from class 2 began to notice Tang Lin coming from a distance point at this time. Xiaohe also poked her head out to look at Tang Lin and smiled at Tang Lin. When Ma Xiaofei saw this scene, he couldn't stand it. Xiaohe never smiled at others easily. This hateful Tang Lin. Wang Xiaoshu. Tang Lin came to the door and called into the classroom. Hey, Xiaofei, this guy Tang Lin didn't really beat you, did he? Seeing that Ma Xiaofei looked unhappy after meeting Tang Lin, his deskmate asked him curiously. My deskmate didn't believe that the first year Soul Masters could defeat the upper grade Soul Masters. He only thought that Ma Xiaofei was talking nonsense to the teacher. Ma Xiaofei rolled her eyes at him and then looked at Tang Lin hatefully. He really didn't dare to say anything to Tang Lin, so he could only secretly hate him. He had been fooled by Tang Lin before, and it took him a long time to wake up. As soon as he woke up, he felt a little shadow of Tang Lin. This is only second. The most important thing is that he didn't expect that his brother, a great soul master in his 20s, would also be stunned by Tang Lin. This made him panic at the time, and he almost ran to tell his father, but later he was still stunned. Kian stopped him for the sake of face. Fortunately, Tang Lin and Wang Xiaoshu didn't publicize it everywhere, otherwise he and his brother would have been embarrassed. It's so uncomfortable, Ma Fei, Wang Xiaoshu deliberately said angrily to him when he came out. Ma Xiaofei has many nicknames in the class, such as Fifi, Xiaofei, Ma Fei, Fixing, and so on. Facing Wang Xiaoshu's ridicule, Ma Xiaofei remained silent. He didn't dare to say anything, but he had already scolded Wang Xiaoshu thousands of times in his heart. After Tang Lin arrived, Xiaofei didn't even look at him. He felt really uncomfortable. He hated Tang Lin and the two from the bottom of his heart. HMPH, wait until my cousin comes back and see how I deal with you. Looking at Tang Lin's leaving figures, he secretly swore in his heart. Time flies, and another month has passed. Tang Lin's body has become a little stronger, and now he has mastered the first level of the 18 patterns of the circle. He feels that he can go to the Stardao forest to obtain his second soul ring. This time his father is not at home, but he has no intention of asking his father to help him. It is not enough to rely on his father all the time. Wang Xiaoshu, there are many spiritual beasts in the ring in this space. You take a little out every day and let my mother cook for you. Tang Lin explained. This space ring was the one he had just drawn in a lottery. He took out almost all the spirit beast meat he had left, enough to feed his family for several months. I only kept a dozen kilograms for cooking instant noodles along the way. Yeah, I understand. Just be careful. Wang Xiaoshu took the ring and said, I know, you have to work hard according to your training plan in school, otherwise it won't look good if you fall too far behind when I come back. Tang Lin said with a smile. Tang Lin has already told his mother. The reason is that the teacher wants to take him out for special training, and he doesn't know how long it will take. After Tang Feng's previous explanation, just listen to his son in everything, so Li Rao didn't say much. Now everything that needs to be explained has been explained. After preparing all the supplies, Tang Lin bought a map at the Notting City gate and left Notting City directly. Target, Star Forest. Cousin, it's him. In a dark corner behind Tang Lin, Ma Xiaofei took his cousin's hand and pointed at Tang Lin and said, are you sure you're not kidding me? He's only 6 years old. Even if you can't beat him, there's no way your cousin can't beat him. My cousin said in disbelief. Is this little cousin playing with me? Let me, a mighty soul master, deal with such a little brat. How can I save my face? Cousin, I'm not lying to you. My brother and I really can't beat him. Ma Xiaofei said seriously. My cousin nodded. This is interesting. Cousin, look, he's leaving the city. This is a God-given opportunity. Cousin, let's follow him quietly, wait until he's in a deserted place, and then beat him up. I'm going to beat him until his mother can't even recognize him. Recommended reading // Although Ma Xiaofei was only 8 years old, he was also a clever little kid. The moment he saw Tang Lin leaving the city, he had various plans in mind. Okay, my cousin had no choice but to agree. He also wanted to see what this little kid Tang Lin was capable of, and whether he was really as powerful as Ma Xiaofei said. If it's really that powerful. As soon as Tang Lin left Notting City, he chose a direction and galloped away. He was wearing heavy armor and his speed was not very fast. When entering the woods, Tang Lin stopped. Come out, you followed me from the city to here. It's really hard on you. Tang Lin had long realized that someone was following him. Haha, Tang Lin, you are going to be unlucky today. Ma Xiaofei stopped hiding and stepped out. Who am I talking about? It turns out to be you. Why do you miss my pan again? Tang Lin took out the pan and said with a playful smile. Ma Xiaofei's cheeks turned red and he took a few steps back. This kind of inner fear cannot be concealed. His cousin patted him on the shoulder to reassure him. Are you Tang Lin? I heard that my two cousins can't beat you. This is really unimaginable for me. While speaking, he released his 3 soul rings, yellow, and purple, the best configuration of soul rings. Especially the purple 1000-year soul ring is even more eye-catching. Even if Ma Xiaofei has seen it more than once, he is still filled with envy and admiration. My cousin is a genius in the family, and he is an undefeated legend in his heart. Tang Lin grinned, as if he hadn't seen the shining 1000-year soul ring. He didn't take him seriously at all, and said with a smile, the unimaginable may be yet to come. Chapter 41. Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex Family. When the cousin saw that Tang Lin didn't have the slightest emotion when he saw his 1000-year soul ring and remained calm, he thought to himself, could he have some helpers nearby? / his mind was active, and while he was shocked by Tang Lin's performance, he slowly looked around to see if there were any masters secretly protecting him. Don't worry, there are just the three of us here. There won't be anyone else. Tang Lin smiled after seeing what he was thinking. Since you have no helpers, why didn't you run away when you saw my cousin's 1,000-year-old ring? Are you scared to death? Haha, Ma Xiaofei said. With his cousin by his side, Ma Xiaofei has let himself go, and it would be no exaggeration to say that he is unscrupulous. Looking at Tang Lin, he felt extremely comfortable. Tang Lin shook his head, not wanting to talk to this fool. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Xiangan, and I'm the cousin of Ma Xiaofei and the others. I heard them teach you a lesson before. I didn't believe it, so I came with him to have a look. But now I believe it. Cousin Xiangan said. Cousin, do you finally believe it? Help me teach this boy a lesson. He is too arrogant. Ma Xiaofei said happily immediately. Xiangan shook his head. Tang Lin, the fact that you were able to defeat my two cousins and remain unscathed shows that you are extremely talented and an unparalleled genius. I'm here to sincerely invite you to join my family, and I hope you will consider it. Cousin, how did you? Ma Xiaofei was shocked. I came to you to ask you to avenge me. Why did you suddenly invite him to join the family? This change caught Ma Xiaofei by surprise. Indeed, as Xiangan said, the two brothers Ma Xiaofei only told him that they were defeated by a soul master named Tang Lin. They did not say Tang Lin's age. But he didn't believe it at the time because he couldn't figure out how a soul master could be so powerful. Maybe he can beat the great soul master. Later, when he learned that Tang Lin was only 6 years old, he even thought that his cousin was teasing him. It was not until just now that he realized that this was not his cousins teasing him, but the fact. While shocked, he immediately determined that Tang Lin must be a fighting genius, so he started to think of recruiting Tang Lin into his family. If that's the case, then please come back. I don't want to join any family. Tang Lin shook his head. Xiangan was not angry, but smiled and said, you may not understand how powerful our family is. You can decide after I finish speaking. Our family's power is not limited to the small city of Notting. Our power is so great that you can't even imagine it. You can get better training conditions by joining us. From now on, no one will dare to bully you and your family, not even the Spirit Hall and the Empire. Money can be spent however you want. So, you still think about it? Don't think about it. I won't join any family. If you don't have anything else to do, and I have something else to do, I won't accompany you. Tang Lin said. This person is obviously bragging. Even the no sect in the world was forced to retire by Wuhan Palace. Is there any family on this continent that Wuhan Palace cannot touch? When I'm a 3-year-old? Xiangan was a little surprised when he heard Tang Lin's decisive rejection. In the past, when he recruited so-called geniuses, he always used the same rhetoric. Tang Lin, my cousin has sincerely invited you, so don't be ignorant. Ma Xiaofei said loudly. Xiaofei, shut up. It's none of your business here. Xiangan frowned and said angrily. Didn't you see that the boss is trying to trick this kid into going home? It's okay if you don't assist, but you're going to do a last-ditch attack. Why didn't I realize you were so stupid before? Then he said to Tang Lin with a kind face, Tang Lin, brother, I won't brag to you anymore. Let me tell you clearly, our family is an affiliated family of the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family, one of the best in Douluo continent. You are also someone who has gone to school, so you should know about the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family, one of the 3 upper sects, right? And our family is the most powerful among the affiliated families. Join us, and if you perform well in the future, you will have the opportunity to join the Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family. This is what many soul masters dream of. Think about it yourself. As a member of the first affiliated family of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family of the Shangsun sect, he is very proud. Tang Lin was a little surprised. He didn't expect that this small city of Notting contained the forces of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. But after thinking about it, I understand that this is the border between the two countries, and Notting City is prosperous. Even the father of the Haotian sect is hiding here, so this is not surprising. Seeing Tang Lin's slightly shocked look, Xiangan thought he was going to persuade Tang Lin, and couldn't help but secretly rejoice. To be honest, he came to Notting City this time, just to take Ma Xiaofei to the sect for training. If he could recruit a monster genius like Tang Lin at the same time, his status in the family and the sect would be greatly improved in the future. But the next moment, the fantasy in his heart was shattered by Tang Lin's ruthless destruction. Tang Lin shook his head, smiled, and said lightly, "Don't say it's your family. Even if the leader of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family comes to invite me personally, I won't join. So don't waste your efforts. If you really like me that much, you can join me. Family. Hehehe." He didn't even bother to go to the Haoshan sect, the #1 sect in the world, let alone the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. Insanity. "Cousin, I just said he is not a good person." Ma Xiaofei immediately seized the opportunity to start a fight again. He also knew that his cousin came to Notting City to take this genius like him to the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. If Tang Lin was also invited by his cousin, wouldn't he always be stepped on by Tang Lin? So he was happy to see the two of them break up. Although Xiangan was angry in his heart, he did not show it, and remained calm and composed. There are only a few possibilities for Tang Lin to be so disdainful of the Blue Lightning Overlord family. Point first, he didn't understand how powerful the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family was. However, this possibility is very small, because the 7 major sects are so famous that even the little kids in the city who have not gone to school know about it. It is impossible for Tang Lin not to know about it. Second, he has a grudge against the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. However, there was no sign of hatred towards him in Tang Lin's eyes, so this possibility should be very small. There is only one last possibility. Tang Lin is already a member of a powerful force. When Xiangan thought about this, he felt more and more that this was possible. Could it be Hao Xianzong? Although his surname is Tang, his martial spirit is not the Clear Sky Hammer, and the Clear Sky sect has closed its sect and retired from the world. It is very likely that it is the Kibao Glazed sect. But regardless of whether this is possible, we can't take action against Tang Lin now. In just a moment, Xiangan made a decision in his heart. If Tang Lin could attack, he would do it. If he couldn't, he wouldn't be easily offended. Maybe there will be another chance in the future. And when he said there was no one around, did it really mean there was no one around? Although Tang Lin is young, he is not a fool. If no one is protecting him secretly, does he really dare to provoke us like this? After thinking about everything, he smiled and said, "Ha ha ha, little brother, you are very courageous. I will stop talking to you about the 2 cousins before. I promise you that they will never bother you again in the future. Since you don't want to join our family, I won't force you to do it. This is just based on your own free will. As the saying goes, business cannot be done without mercy. Since you still have something to do, let's have a chance to meet again." Xiangan spoke very freely. Ma Xiaofei wanted to say something more, but was stopped by his cold eyes and did not dare to speak again. Seeing Xiangan say this, Tang Lin seemed a little bored. He deliberately said this to anger Xiangan and then use him to test the defensive effect of his inner armor. Unexpectedly, Xiangan could endure it. Tang Lin waved his hand helplessly and slipped away. The most important thing right now is to go to the Stardow Forest. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42. Liangkia. Tang Lin practiced while traveling. When he was tired, he rented a carriage and listened to the scenery while humming a tune. When he was hungry, he cooked a pot of spiritual meat and lived a happy life this day. Tang Lin walked out of the mountains. There were still more than 200 miles to the Star Forest. Not far ahead was a small town. He had to go to the small town to rest for a night and restore his physical condition. The sun is warm and the breeze is gentle. "Oh, old man, I live in Jejetun. Oh, I'm a native born and raised in the village," humming a little tune. Tang Lin took a leisurely walk on the road. In the carriage. "Miss, tomorrow we will enter the Stardow Forest. After obtaining the soul ring, the lady will be the soul master. Ting Ting, the maid, said with an envious look. In the carriage, sitting next to the maid was an aloof girl with jade earrings and a pretty face. This was the young lady she called her. Yes. The girl smiled and nodded. There are no obvious traces of makeup on the girl's face, only a light dress, but she looks very natural and simple. The clothes also reveal the ladylike temperament that can only be found in wealthy families. Oh, Leo gas. Suddenly, a very discordant sound came over, and Ting Ting couldn't help but say, "Ha, miss, I seem to hear the voice of a child." Ting Ting said. The girl also heard it. She opened the curtains in the car and took a look. She saw a 6-year-old boy walking struttingly on the roadside. His exposed fleshy little arms were tender, and his plump face was red. The way he walks is also extremely cute. Ting Ting, Ting Ting, look, that little boy is so cute. I really want to. Okay. The maid poked her head out. Huh? Whose child is this? Why does he look so cute? I feel like hugging him. Miss, look, he seems to be a human being. He is so brave. Yes, why is he walking on the road alone? It's so dangerous here. Ting Ting, stop the car quickly. The girl said quickly. The maid immediately called to the coachman in front and stopped the carriage. Tang Lin was humming a little tune when suddenly several carriages stopped next to him, which startled him. There won't be any robbers in this barren mountain, right? Okay. It seemed like someone was walking towards me. If I'm not blind, there should be two beautiful young ladies, one of whom is as beautiful as a fairy. Looking at their little eyes, they are not attracted to my handsome and cute little face, right? Alas, it's all because of the spiritual flesh of the spiritual snake, that I'm now skinned like as fat and everyone loves me. Little brother, don't be afraid, sister is not a bad person. The girl changed her usual cold attitude and looked at Tang Lin and said gently. Tang Lin pouted, afraid? Are you kidding? This word doesn't exist in my dictionary, Tang Lin. The two of them looked at Tang Lin's arrogant look, and they were so cute. They really wanted to rush over and hug Tang Lin over and give him a kiss. Little brother, you can call me Sister Kia. What's your name? Why are you here alone? Do you know that it's very dangerous here? Kia asked 3 times in a very concerned manner. Sister Kia, my name is Tang Lin. Tang Lin said with his big eyes blinking. This pretty girl doesn't look like a bad person. It turns out that my little brother's name is Tang Lin, but it's very dangerous here. There may be wild beasts coming out to eat people at any time. Tell your sister where you want to go. She has a car. Can she take you there? Kia said with a distressed look on her face. Judging from the direction Tang Lin was walking in just now, it should be the town not far ahead, which happened to be on the same road as him. Tang Lin originally wanted to refuse, but then he thought that it was rare to meet a young lady with such a gentle and kind heart. If he rejected her, wouldn't it hurt her heart? I can't refuse. It's definitely not because of her beauty. I just don't want to break the girl's heart. Well, yes, that's it. Tang Lin said obediently. Okay, Sister Kia, you are such a good person. Thank you, sister. Are you tired from walking? Come here, sister. Can I carry you to the car? Ting Ting couldn't bear it anymore and reached out to hug the adorable Tang Lin. Kia suddenly became angry. She didn't expect that Ting Ting would dare to get ahead of me. Why is Ting Ting so fat? She can't seem to hold her. Ting Ting was a little embarrassed. He found that Tang Lin was a bit heavy and he couldn't hold it up. Tang Lin then remembered the heavy armor on his body. With a thought, the weight of the heavy armor disappeared instantly. Kia seized the opportunity. Since you can't hold it, don't blame me. So he stretched out his 2 slender hands toward Tang Lin. Come, sister, hold me. Several carriages set off again in the carriage. Sister, are you going to Stardew Forest? Tang Lin asked with a sweet voice while lying in Kia's soft arms. He originally wanted to sit aside obediently, but Sister Kia refused and hugged him tighter, saying that the mountain road was bumpy and she was afraid that he would not be able to sit firmly and be knocked. Tang Lin was helpless. How can I resist such a beautiful young lady at such a young age? So I could only listen to my sister and lie in her arms. Yeah, Xiaolin is so smart. That's why we came to the Star Forest. Ting Ting kissed Tang Lin in Kia's arms and said with a smile. Kia gave her a strange look, but she stuck out her tongue at Kia naughtily. Tang Lin thought to himself that he was also alone. Since he got in their car, why not go into the Stardew forest with them? Kia's identity seems to be not simple. She has brought 2 full cars of experts with her. Even if she is licking boxes all the way with them, it is okay. Sister Kia, Lin also wants to go with the sisters. Is that okay? Tang Lin said cutely, blinking his big eyes. Not to mention, this little brat identity is really easy to use, and Tang Lin manages it perfectly. Kia's heart melted instantly. But at the same time, she was also worried about Tang Lin's safety. After all, the Stardew forest was an extremely dangerous place. Lina, why do you want to go there? It's very dangerous there. Ting Ting asked. Yes, what if we encounter danger? You'd better not come with us. Kia also said. But I want to be with you, Sister Kia. Tang Lin pouted and said a little aggrievedly. Seeing Tang Lin's pitiful look, Kia felt her heart was broken. Oh, okay, sister, I'll take you with me. Hey, Sister Kia is so nice. However, you have to listen to my sister and not run around when the time comes. Kia said. I will be very obedient, yeah. Tang Lin chuckled, put his little hands around her neck, and kissed her on the cheek. Kia was flattered. She had kissed Tang Lin several times before, but he refused to do so when asked to kiss her. Now that Tang Lin kissed her, she felt extremely happy. Ting Ting, who was next to her, was unhappy again, and stretched her face directly over. Lina, my sister wants it too. After communicating along the way, Tang Lin learned that Kia's full name was Liang Kia, and she was from Socho City, hundreds of kilometers away. She is now 18 or 19 years old, and her soul power has just reached level. Her father sent someone to follow her to hunt soul beasts, and obtain the 3rd soul ring for her. There were several people in the group, including 7 or 8 soul masters, 3 soul sects, 2 soul kings, and even 1 soul emperor. This Linoop is very safe, Tang Lin thought to himself. This time he can safely follow their butt licking. Chapter 43. Cool taste. Entering the town, it was much livelier than Tang Lin had imagined. The town was almost as big as half of Notting City, except that there were no city walls. It was similar to an ordinary small city. There were many shops on the streets, and there are all kinds of shops. Tang Lin took a closer look, and found that the main business scope of the shops here were all related to soul masters, such as those selling weapons, armors, detoxification, and recovery potions, and even clothes. The pockets can hold a lot of sundries, and are suitable for special clothing used by soul masters for adventure. As the saying goes, you can rely on mountains and rivers to eat. There are still many small towns, large and small, around the Stardew forest. Tang Lin and his father had been to one before, but that town was not as big as this town, so he didn't think there was anything particularly strange about it. Along the way, Tang Lin kept holding Liang Kia's hand, as if he was afraid that he might be lost. Lina, you said this is your first time here? Ting Ting asked, feeling like there was something wrong with her ears. Yes. Tang Lin nodded. Ting Ting's eyes widened. How dare a 6-year-old kid come to a place like this alone? This simply subverted her imagination. The two of them asked about Tang Lin's situation many times along the way, but Tang Lin just acted cute and pretended to be pitiful and said nothing. Kia already regarded Tang Lin as a poor abandoned child and decided to take him home this time and raise him as her own brother. I really can't understand that someone would cruelly abandon such a cute child. It's really abominable. The more Kia thought about it, the more she felt pity for Tang Lin, and vowed to be kind to Tang Lin in the future, and make him feel at home. Lina, can you, sister, take you to eat something delicious? Kia knelt down, and rubbed Tang Lin's cheek. Okay. Tang Lin was very happy. All the way here, I have eaten all the spiritual meat and other things on my body, and now I'm really still a little hungry. After taking Tang Lin to eat some snacks, the group finally entered a large hotel, and the young and beautiful waiters immediately came over to greet them warmly. These adults must be here to hunt soul beasts for this beautiful lady, right? Come on, please come upstairs. The food in our hotel is definitely the best in town and the most affordable. We will provide several good VIP rooms for a few adults. When they set off tomorrow, we will also prepare some for them. There is enough food. If you have any other needs, you can tell us, and we will try our best to help them." The beautiful lady chatted with the escort, and they slowly came to the second floor. The second floor was different from the noisy first floor. It was quieter here, and the food and seats were relatively expensive. "Miss, look over there. Do they look familiar?" After arriving on the second floor and sitting down, Ting Ting saw a familiar figure at the next table. Liang Kia asked about it, and found out that the people at the table over there were indeed people they knew. But when she saw someone, she didn't have a good expression. "Come on, Lin, you can order whatever you want to eat." Liang Kia handed a menu to Tang Lin and said. Tang Lin thought for a while, then stretched out his little hand and clicked on a chicken soup pattern obediently, then stopped clicking. Liang Kia smiled. "This chicken soup is probably one of the cheapest dishes here, right? My little brother is really good at saving money." Liang Kia didn't have the airs of a big sister, and the whole group sat at the same dining table and ate together. "The next table is not far away. Master, look, it's Miss Kia." "Oh." The young master at the table suddenly became happy and quickly looked up. Sure enough, it was Kia, and then she greeted loudly, "Kia." Liang Kia was too lazy to pay attention to him, and was still teasing Tang Lin with a smile on her face. Liang Kia was aloof and liked children. He knew this, so he was not angry. Instead, he said to his brother next to him, "Brother, go over there and say hello to your sister Kia." The younger brother listened to his elder brother's words and ran over. The younger brother also liked sister Kia very much. Tang Lin also saw a 7 or 8-year-old boy running over with a face full of joy. Although everyone is just a child, he seems much more ordinary. His appearance is similar to that of Tang San, which is pretty possible. He is not as cute or handsome as Tang Lin. "Hello, sister Kia," the little boy called sweetly. "It's Zyadaji. Why did your brother bring you here? He is so irresponsible." When she looked at the little boy in front of her, Kia still had a smile on her face, but when she mentioned his brother, her expression immediately changed. "Chick?" This made Tang Lin laugh, but at his age, there was nothing wrong with calling him little chicken. When the little boy heard that sister Kia still called him that, he couldn't help but frowned and said, "Sister, you call me Zyadaji again?" "Huh, my name is Wenji." "Okay. Plague chicken?" The little boy's immature and incomplete pronunciation immediately made Tang Lin feel sick, but he was amused. Seeing his look, Liang Kia couldn't help but smile. Okay, sister knows. Do you want to stay and have dinner with sister?" "No, my brother is still waiting for me." "Sister Kia, I'm going back." Wenji waved his hand to Kia and ran back. Wenji is a little strange. Normally, my sister would try to keep me here, but why today? My brother was a little unhappy to see his brother coming back so soon. Normally, Kia would leave her younger brother to play with her for a long time, and he just took the opportunity to go over and exchange feelings with Kia. I didn't expect that this time. It seems to be because of that child. The elder brother immediately turned his attention to Tang Lin. When he saw Tang Lin's cute and handsome look, even he was surprised. I never thought there would be such a cute child in this world. No wonder Kia was so kind to him. She felt like she was worried that he would melt if she held it in her hand. Tang Lin knew what happened between the two boys and girls at a glance. It was obvious that the young master was chasing this young lady, but Miss Kia didn't like him. Tang Lin shook his head, feeling miserable again. "Zyolina, come on, open your mouth," Liang Kia said. Tang Lin was so well behaved that he opened his mouth and swallowed the food Liang Kia fed him. "Is it delicious?" Liang Kia wiped the corners of his mouth for him. "Yeah, it's delicious." Tang Lin nodded with satisfaction. This scene made the young master at the table next to me angry. Oh my god, why am I not that kid? The more he thought about it, the more uncomfortable he became, and he glared at Tang Lin with narrowed eyes. Tang Lin glanced at him unintentionally and couldn't help but feel in his heart, what the hell? This is murder. After just a few mouthfuls of the delicacies that Sister Kia fed me, he became so jealous that he had murderous intentions towards me. If I eat a few more bites, will I not even be able to see the sun tomorrow? Oh my god, this world is so scary. I'm just a kid. What did I do wrong? Zyolina, come. Liang Kia said with a smile. Tang Lin immediately burped patted his bulging belly and said, Sister Kia, I'm full. For the sake of your own little life, you should not be too desperate. After all, this is his territory, and there are so many masters around him who don't know the depth of their cultivation. It would not be good if he really angered him. Haha, Xiaolina is so cute. Yeah, Liang Kia saw Tang Lin patting his bulging belly. He looked so cute and couldn't help but kiss him again. Snapped. At the same time, Tang Lin only heard a slight sound of slapping the table from the table next to him, and he screamed in his heart. Liang Kia kissed me at this time, didn't he push me into the fire pit? The light body fragrance of a girl is all a lie. I only smelled something called coolness. Chapter 44. Scumbag. The young man at the next table is named K. Wenz. He is quite handsome and is about the same age as Liang Kia. He is a rich young man from Soto City. He had been childhood sweethearts with Liang Kia since he was a child and was recognized by both parents. However, because of his carelessness, Liang Kia became more and more indifferent to him. It was rare for him to see Liang Kia smile so much today, and she smiled so brightly. He should have been happy, but because of the adorable Tang Lin, he was in an extremely bad mood. Which of you knows that kid? K. Wen said angrily. Master, this is the first time we have met that boy. When we went out of the city before, we never saw Miss Kia with such a child. The subordinate touched his chin and said that he didn't understand either. Snapped. K. Wenz couldn't help but slap him in the face. Trash. The subordinate was immediately stunned. Can you blame me if you haven't met that boy? Master, I have a plan. At this time, a middle-aged man behind him spoke. This man has a sharp mouth and a sinister face. He is not a good person at first glance point, but he has the highest cultivation level and compatibility among everyone, and is responsible for protecting the young master's safety point. Although K. Wenz could punch or kick some of his subordinates, he did not dare to be disrespectful to this middle-aged man. Uncle Lee, what's the best plan? K. Wenz asked respectfully. There is no good strategy. Leo Lee pretended to think deeply. K. Wenz's mouth twitched when he heard this. Why would you jump out and force me if you don't have a good idea? Fortunately, Uncle Lee continued, but master, you can do this first, and then this, and finally. After the meal, the two parties greeted each other before they separated. After all, they were all people who knew each other in Soto City. Feeling K. Wenz's unkind gaze, Tang Lin didn't want to stay here anymore. So he asked, Sister Kia, are we going to stay here tonight? Yes, it's getting late. We have to stay here for one night and set off tomorrow. Liang Kia said with a smile. They had traveled a long way to get here and had to have a good night's rest before entering the forest. Tang Lin was a little helpless, but there was nothing he could do about it. Night in the tavern. Kia, there are dangers everywhere in the Star Forest. Let's go together tomorrow so that we can take care of each other. K. Wen said with a sincere face. No need, there are a few uncles to protect us. As long as we don't go deep, we are still very safe on the outside. Liang Kia said coldly. Kia, please don't get angry with me at this time, okay? The Stardow Forest is no better than the Soul Hunting Forest. Even the outside is full of dangers. K. Wen said. Miss, Master K is right. The Stardow Forest is no better than other places. Together with Master K, we will be safer. That old Lee is also much stronger than me. The Soul Emperor on Liang Kia's side also spoke quietly. He originally hoped that the two children could be together in the future, which would be of great benefit to him, and both families recommended reading / Liang Kia had no choice but to agree. Kia, just have a good rest tonight, and I will find a 1,000-year soul beast for you tomorrow. K. Wen saw that Liang Kia's attitude had softened a little, and he tried to take a few steps closer. Liang Kia picked up Tang Lin and said angrily, Master K, thank you for your kindness. My uncle and uncle will find a suitable soul beast for me. Kia, you really misunderstood me about what happened before. I really only have you in my heart. K. Wenz tried his best to explain. When Tang Lin heard this, he understood that K. Wenz was probably in love with someone he shouldn't have been in love with, and then Liang Kia was heartbroken, so she was so cold to him. Damn it, Liang Kia is such a beautiful and kind girl. It's okay if he doesn't know how to cherish her, and he breaks Sister Kia's heart. Why, I only have you in my heart. Scumbag. Tang Lin hugged Liang Kia tighter with both hands, and he began to feel a little sorry for Liang Kia. For such a good person like Liang Kia to meet such a scumbag, everyone would feel heartbroken. Kia didn't misunderstand anything. It's Master K who is over worrying. Some things are better not to be known to others. So, Master K, please respect yourself in the future. Liang Kia ignored his sweet words and warned coldly. She made it very clear that, if you don't want both parents to know about you, you'd better stop harassing me. K Wenz was a little angry, but he didn't dare to express it. No matter what, the Stardow Forest is indeed an extremely dangerous place. For everyone's safety, we will set off together tomorrow. Is the Stardow Forest dangerous? Sister Kia, I'm afraid Tang Lin suddenly possessed the actor. Don't be afraid, sister will protect you. Liang Kia hugged Tang Lin and consoled her. Seeing Tang Lin's little head being squeezed into two soft parts by Liang Kia, K Wenz was filled with anger. In his eyes, Liang Kia is his. This kid actually. Suddenly, Tang Lin felt a strong murderous aura and was startled. He obediently hid in Liang Kia's arms and buried his head deeper. Don't look at me, and I'll make you so angry, you scumbag. Don't be afraid, Xiaolina. We will leave with Master K tomorrow. There are so many people and we will protect you. Liang Kia said. Liang Kia thought Tang Lin was still scared. In order to comfort Tang Lin, she personally promised to set off together tomorrow. But K Wenz was not happy at all. Miss, it's getting late. Let's go back and rest. Maid Ting Ting came over and said. Xiaolin, sister will take you to bed. Tang Lin responded cheerfully. What the hell? This kid still wants to sleep with my Kia? How does this work? This guy's not a good guy at first glance. Kia, why don't you leave Tang Lin to me and let him sleep with Wenji so that they can have company even though they are the same age? K Wenz immediately said, pretending to be a gentle big brother. When Tang Lin heard K Wenz's words, he was almost scared to death. If he followed him, he would have to find an excuse to deal with him. A ghost wants to sleep with a plague chicken. Xiaolina, do you want to sleep with your sisters or play with the chickens? Liang Kia asked. You still need to ask? Tang Lin said without thinking. I just want to be with my sisters. Hahaha, okay. My sister's love for you is indeed not in vain. Liang Kia said happily. Then without even looking at K Wenz, he carried Tang Lin directly into the room and closed the door with a bang. Is this brat Tang Lin really going to sleep with me, Kia, tonight? K Wenz looked confused and felt extremely painful. He hated this boy Tang Lin to the extreme. In the room. Today I have completely offended K Wenz. There are many masters around him, so it is inevitable that he will not play dirty tricks on me. I will never leave Sister Kia in the future, otherwise I'm afraid my life will be in danger. At this moment, Tang Lin also knew that his situation was not good, but fortunately, Sister Kia was kind-hearted and treated him very well. He knew that, as long as Liang Kia was around, he would be safe. Liang Kia and Maid Ting Ting helped Tang Lin take a hot bath together. Tang Lin originally strongly rejected this behavior and always insisted that he knew how to wash it. However, the two sisters always said that he, a little kid, could wash himself cleanly by himself. Unable to resist the enthusiasm of the two sisters, Tang Lin was helplessly forced to accept. Ugh. My life is miserable. When they went to bed, both women wanted to take Tang Lin as their own, and both wanted to sleep with the cute little Liner in their arms. They fought to no avail. In the end, Tang Lin could only lie down between the two girls, and just like that, the three of them began to fall asleep. Chapter 45. Star Forest. Happy days always pass quickly. In a blink of an eye, it was dawn. Tang Lin woke up slowly. It was a bit uncomfortable to sleep between his two sisters, so he couldn't help but moan deeply as soon as he woke up. Xiaolina, what's wrong with you? My sister didn't press you, right? Liang Kia woke up at the same time and asked with concern. She was really afraid that she would hurt Tang Lin. Sister, I'm fine, Tang Lin said. With his physical strength, there was no way he could be injured so easily, not to mention he was wearing heavy armor. But Liang Kia is indeed beautiful. Even with messy hair and no makeup, she is like a goddess. No wonder that young Master K is chasing after her. Seeing that Tang Lin was fine, Liang Kia felt relieved and breathed a sigh of relief. "Miss, why did you get up so early today?" The maid Ting Ting also woke up and said she was a maid. In fact, she and the young lady grew up together. They have a good relationship and are like sisters. "Ting Ting, you can continue to sleep. We have to prepare and head to the Star Forest." Ting Ting is not a soul master, so she can only stay in the hotel and wait for her return. "Xiaolin, why don't you stay with your sister? You also know that the Stardao Forest is dangerous. It's the safest to be here with your sister." Ting Ting was reluctant to let Tang Lin leave her, so she said seductively, "It's dangerous if you stay." Tang Lin immediately said, but I want to be with Sister Kia. If he wasn't with Liang Kia, I'm afraid that, as soon as she left, Kei Wen's would send someone to kill him. Besides, how could I lick the box if I didn't follow them to the Stardao Forest? How to become stronger? Liang Kia was very happy that Tang Lin could accompany her on this journey. "With so many of us, we can protect Xiaolina. Just wait for us to come back at the hotel." Ting Ting was helpless. "Master, Miss Kia really brought that boy with her. I saw him brought into Miss Kia's carriage with my own eyes." "In the carriage," a subordinate said respectfully to Kei Wen's. Snapped. Kei Wen's backhand was a slap in the face. "Maid, it's not enough for Tang Lin to stick to my Kia at night. He sticks to me even when we go to Stardao Forest. I'm really going to be pissed off." After being slapped again for no reason, this subordinate was confused again. "Come on, tell me, what the hell did I do wrong? When we enter the forest, Kei Wen's looked at the other carriage with a sinister look, which was the carriage in which Tang Lin and Liang Kia were riding. After the carriage traveled more than 100 miles, everyone started to get off the car and walk on foot. This was already the outskirts of the forest, and from time to time, spirit beasts would come out and cause trouble. For safety, walking is a must. The Stardao Forest is full of dangers. Let's try to stay together and not be too far apart. The purpose of our trip is to find 2 suitable 1,000-year-old soul beasts for Miss Kia and Master Kei Wen's. Leave after completing the mission. During this period, do not kill innocent soul beasts indiscriminately or cause unnecessary trouble." Feng Yubo, the Soul Emperor on Liang Kia's side, said. Kei Wen's and the Master Laoli both smiled with disdain in their hearts. Of course they have to kill the soul beast when they encounter it. Is it possible to keep him here to kill you? Okay, let's go. The Stardao Great Forest is located in the south of the Heaven Dao Empire. The forest straddles the 2 empires. Because there are many soul beasts here, this is also the place where the border between the 2 countries is the least clear. Judging from the map, most of the area of the Stardao Great Forest is within the territory of the Star Luo Empire. Of course, the Heaven Dao Empire has never admitted this point. As one of the 3 major wild soul beast gathering places, this is naturally the place where soul masters most hope to come, because the types and quality of the soul beasts here are far from comparable to other places. No one could tell how many years the Stardao Great Forest existed in Douluo continent, but after walking into the forest, the denseness that covered the sky was enough to tell people that it existed for a long time. The tall trees are at least 20 meters above, and this is only the outermost part. The dense forest has no paths at all, and the trees are full of shadows, and the real scene inside cannot be seen. When we arrived at the forest, the air felt comfortable, as if the temperature had dropped a bit. The refreshing feeling with the moist earthy aroma constantly stimulates everyone's sense of smell. Liang Kia held Tang Lin's little hand tightly. In this dangerous place, any unexpected situation could happen. Tang Lin was always paying attention to his surroundings. This time he didn't have his father to support him, and he wasn't as relaxed as the last time he entered the Stardao Forest. As early as last night, he secretly folded 5 pieces of spirit snake armor on himself, but he still felt not safe enough. Because he not only had to guard against the dangers that would appear in the forest, but also guarded against Kei Wen's, who was gnashing his teeth at him. Of all the people present, only Liang Kia cared about his safety, so he could only hold Liang Kia's hand tightly and not let go. Liang Kia was now like his lifeblood. Kei Wen's next to him remained angry all the time, and his anger level was rising steadily, and he didn't know when it would end. Entering the Stardao Forest, they walked for more than half an hour. All they encountered were spirit beasts that were under 100 years old. From time to time, they would see a few 100-year-old spirit beasts. As for the young spirit beasts they were looking for, they didn't even see a single one. At our current speed, we don't know how long it will take to find the soul beast we need. I suggest that we speed up and leave immediately after finding it, Kay Wen said. Although Tang Lin didn't like this person, what he said was indeed right. The longer you stay in the forest, the more dangerous it will be. The sooner you find the spirit beast, the sooner you can go back. Lin, are you tired? How about your sister carrying you? Liang Kia asked with concern. If you want to speed up, everyone is at the level of a great soul master or above, so the speed will not be very slow. How can a little kid like Tang Lin run? Miss, how is this possible? Yes, miss, if there is an emergency, he will harm you, do you know? Miss, how about I carry him for you? Kay Wen smiled softly, but he felt a little better, since Tang Lin had become a burden to everyone. You don't have to carry me on your back, Sister Kia. I can run by myself, Tang Lin said with a smile. The weakest among this group of people are the two great soul masters Liang Kia and Kay Wen's. So Tang Lin didn't need to outrun others, he just needed to keep up with these two people. Although both of them had level 30 soul power, if Tang Lin removed the weight of his heavy armor, he would be able to keep up. How could Liang Kia believe Tang Lin's words? She immediately said, Lin, don't make trouble, this is not a joke. Otherwise, let Uncle Li run on your back. This Li is the most powerful person here, and Liang Kia can rest assured if Tang Lin is handed over to him. However, Tang Lin disagreed. He knew at a glance that this Li was not a good person, and he was also Kay Wen's. He didn't know what was going on when he was asked to carry him on his back until he was thrown to death. Sister, I can keep up with you. What are you talking about, kid? Did I hear you correctly? Can you keep up? Do you think this is a race for primary school students? Kay Wen's laughed. Everyone also shook their heads helplessly. A child is indeed a child. I don't know what the eldest lady is up to and insists on bringing this kid here. Only the two soul emperors remained silent in the audience. They felt that Tang Lin was not that simple. Tang Lin was speechless. Since no one believed it, I had no choice but to show my cards. I'm also a soul master. Chapter 46. Soul Eating Spider. As if hearing the funniest joke in the world, Kay Wen's subordinate laughed loudly. Ha 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 ha. Kid, do you know what a soul master is? You little. Before he could say anything, Tang Lin released an extremely dazzling century-old spirit ring. Shock. Everyone looked at Tang Lin with wide eyes. He is only a little over 6 years old, but he is actually a soul master, and he even has a century-old soul ring. Unbelievable. Heck. This is so fucking bloody. Xiaolina. Liang Kia shouted with surprise, and directly held Tang Lin in her arms. It turns out that besides being extremely handsome and cute, my Xiaolina is also a genius soul master. Clap. 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 Kay Wen's was furious and slapped the underling who just spoke. If you don't speak, no one will treat you as a mute. Okay. Let's go. If he can't keep up, I'll carry him. Feng Yubo said. Tang Lin had already become a soul master at this age, and his future achievements would definitely be great. He also began to pay attention to Tang Lin. Everyone began to move forward faster. Ding. Licking the box was successful. Congratulations to the host for gaining 73 box energy points. Ding. Get 70 box energy points. Ding. Get 35 box energy points. Ding. Get 90 box energy points. After accelerating forward, the formation was very neat. This time it was Liaoli who led the way and Feng Yubo cut off the rear. Tang Lin, Liang Kia and Kay Wen's were the weakest people here, surrounded by everyone. When he met those weak soul beasts along the way, Liaoli directly and decisively crushed them and eliminated them. Feng Yubo couldn't say anything to him. After all, they were stronger than him. Tang Lin felt comfortable. Licking the box all the way, my heart was filled with joy. Everyone was a little surprised when they discovered that this boy Tang Lin could really keep up with everyone's speed. He was such a pervert with his short legs. This made many people inexplicably fall in love with this cute and handsome guy Tang Lin. Xiaolina, it turns out you are so powerful. My sister underestimated you. Haha. Liang Kia was full of joy. Tang Lin's cheeks turned slightly red after being praised, making him look even more adorable. Everyone's hearts seemed to be captured by Tang Lin, and their eyes looking at him were full of love and tenderness. This made K-Wenz feel even more uncomfortable, and his face became increasingly gloomy. HMPH. Or 300-year-old pay-clawed tiger dares to block my way. It's just looking for death. Laoli suddenly saw a tiger in front of him and shouted loudly. The tiger was immediately stunned. It was obviously you who ran to me. Why did you say that I was blocking your way? This man is so shameless. Oh. Before Tiger could finish sighing, he was killed by Laoli with a move. The 300-year-old soul beast was helpless in front of him. After a few ups and downs, he disappeared again. Tang Lin ran to the place where the tiger's body was, stopped, reached for the box next to the body, and started licking the box. Ding. I successfully licked the box and got a 313-year soul ring, a pair of tiger striped gloves, and 50 pounds of tiger spirit meat. Tang Lin moved very quickly. In the eyes of others, he just squatted down, touched the tiger, and then started running again. Everyone thought he was pitying the tiger and lamented that he was kind-hearted and a good boy. Half a day passed, but everyone still couldn't find a suitable 1000-year soul beast for the two of them. Laoli is a very good person. Tang Lin licked the box until his hands softened, mostly thanks to this old man. This made Tang Lin suddenly not so disgusted with him, and even felt that he was quite good. Sure enough, people should not be judged by their appearance. Everyone rest where you are. No one should leave alone. Even if anyone wants to go for convenience, please tell everyone, and go only if someone is accompanying you. In the forest, it is common sense that you must maintain sufficient physical strength and soul power at all times. After running for a long time, everyone was a little tired, so they had to stop and rest at this time. Tang Lin looked at his box energy. Box energy. 16,700. He needs to improve his strength now, and the best way is to improve the 18 beats in the circle, but the plus sign next to the skill bar is dark and cannot be clicked at all. This only means that the box is not powerful enough. After all, box energy points were consumed to upgrade the first level, and I don't know how much it will take to upgrade the second level. Just when he was considering whether to draw a lottery, a sudden change occurred. From all directions, a large group of soul-eating spiders are approaching. They are so densely packed, there must be hundreds of them. And the smallest one is also at the 100-year level. There are several 1000-year level ones, and even very far away, there seems to be an even larger 10,000-year magic spider. How come so many soul-eating demon spiders suddenly appeared? Everyone, release your martial soul rings, and prepare for battle. Feng Yubo was the first to react and reminded everyone. After hearing the reminder, everyone who was still sitting cross-legged and resting quickly formed a large circle, activated their martial souls, released their soul rings, and prepared for battle. Tang Lin's eyes narrowed. This soul-eating demon spider is the most vengeful. Even if we kill these today, it won't be long before another batch of more powerful ones will come, and this time we will be in big trouble. We haven't even gone deep into the Stardew forest yet. Who the hell would mess with such a thing? Everyone, be careful. Their target seems to be us. There are too many of them. What a disaster. We didn't mess with them, so how could they suddenly come over and besiege us? It's really unlucky. At this time, Laoli said with an embarrassed look on his face. Well, I seem to have accidentally knocked away a 800-year-old soul-eating demon spider before. Isn't this serious? When Tang Lin heard this, he almost didn't want to go up and punch him. This girl was mentally retarded. Oh, Brother Lee. I told you before that we don't want to kill innocent people indiscriminately, but you don't believe me. This time we are in big trouble. Feng Yubo sighed. There is an extremely powerful, year-old demon spider behind them. You are no match for it. Just protect the young lady and young master from the other spirit beasts. Leave it to me and Brother Lee. Heaven has reincarnation. This guy killed innocent people indiscriminately, but harmed everyone. Kia, don't be afraid, I will protect you. In the middle of the circle formed by everyone, K-Wenz approached Liang Kia and said. Only then did Tang Lin know that this guy's martial spirit turned out to be a beast martial spirit, a black wolf point, and Liang Kia is only an auxiliary soul master and has no fighting ability. Liang ignored him, holding Tang Lin's hand and keeping vigilant. Everyone, be careful, they are coming. Boo. Ha. Ha. Demonic spiders leaped over. Almost everyone is calm in the face of danger. If the sky falls, and there are still tall people holding it up, they only need to deal with these 100-year-old demon spiders in front of them. Fortunately, both teams are relatively strong and cooperate well. Moreover, the personnel configuration is almost perfect, with strong attack system, auxiliary system, agility attack system, etc. Facing the century-old soul beasts, they are almost overwhelmingly defeated, and the 1000-year soul beasts are also unable to defeat them. Everyone fights and retreats. The two soul emperors did not participate in the battle. They were staring at the yellow smoke in the distance. There was a 10,000-year level soul beast staring at them and coming towards them step by step. I hope the age of this 10,000-year soul beast will not be too high, otherwise. Feng Yubo prayed in his heart. Otherwise, everyone will have to play ball. Chapter 47. Cross the river to take refuge. Tang Lin also released his martial soul pan and held it in his hand for emergencies. When K-Wen saw Tang Lin's pan, he looked at it with disdain and then shook his head suddenly. A 100-year-old demon spider broke through the crowd and came to the middle of the circle and was about to attack Tang Lin and the three of them. K-Wen's grinned. Don't be afraid, Kia. I'm here. It's just a century-old spirit beast. Really? A very simple blow. Demon spider pawn. Box energy plus 300. Tang Lin only regretted that he couldn't lick the boxes outside, and he couldn't lick the things in this box either, so he could only get box energy. Because the demon spider had already been punched several meters away by K-Wen's, and they had to retreat quickly. Oh. Another demon spider fell from the sky. K-Wen still killed it easily. Tang Lin was a little curious. When did the century-old soul beast become so weak? K-Wen's can kill one with one blow. Is it true? Boom. 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 3 more demon spiders leaped over at the same time. Tang Lin saw it at this time. These demon spiders were jet black and looked very powerful, but in fact they had been seriously injured and did not have much fighting power. Sure enough, K-Wen's quickly eliminated the 3 demon spiders, clapped his hands and said, Kia, as long as I'm here, I will protect you, even if I risk my life. At the same time, he looked at Tang Lin proudly. Tang Lin was speechless. After killing a few seriously injured and dying century-old soul beasts, you're already drifting, right? These demon spiders were obviously thrown here by K-Wen's people after being deliberately injured in order to make him behave better in front of Liang. Box energy plus 500. As the seriously injured demon spiders fell from the sky one after another, Liang was not indifferent, and she also began to help K-Wen's. This makes K-Wen's extremely happy. Older gingers are more spicy. Uncle Lee's strategy really works. Tang Lin had already seen the clues, but Liang, who was pure and kind-hearted, was still in the dark and gradually started to look at K-Wen's with admiration at this time. Someone said in surprise, "Hey, why don't they attack?" Everyone also noticed that the demon spiders gradually retreated, as if they had received orders. Everyone instantly showed expressions of joy. Could it be that we were too fierce just now and scared them? Only the 2 soul emperors still looked solemn. Everyone, keep retreating. Their boss is about to appear. Feng Yubo shouted in a deep voice. Brother Feng. Laoli opened his eyes wide. I saw it, but why didn't it attack? Is it planning something? Or is it afraid of something? Feng Yubo frowned. Although this 10,000-year-old demon spider is not very strong, it is still stronger than either of them. Maybe the 2 of them can only fight it to a draw. With the demon spider's tray of holding a grudge, he really can't understand how they can do it. Withdrew. The 2 soul emperors broke up and guarded against the demon spider's counterattack, covering the crowd and slowly leaving. Kia, are you not injured? Kia is fine. Thank you Master K for your concern. Liang Kia's answer was still cold, but her attitude was obviously much better than before. At this time, the 2 soul emperors who had broken the rear also chased after him. Seeing that everyone's physical and soul energy had been exhausted, Laoli said, everyone should rest here and adjust. The demon spider has retreated. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. The soul-eating demonic spider is not coming after you? Tang Lin was a little doubtful. After all, this kind of soul beast is quite vindictive. The previous demon spider, that was less than 1,000 years old, was able to summon such an army of demon spiders, obviously because of its high status. In this case, they haven't avenged it yet. How can they leave easily? The soul-eating demonic spider is extremely cunning, so he should have gone to fetch reinforcement. We can't stop and rest. The demon spider army may come after us again, Tang Lin said loudly. Tang Lin's voice was milky and a little hasty, which was really cute. Everyone laughed, thinking that he might have been frightened by those demon spiders. Who will everyone believe between what the Soul Emperor say, or what a 6-year-old kid says? Lin, don't worry, sister is here. Sister, what I said is true. My teacher once said that the soul-eating spiders are very cunning. They must have retreated deliberately because they couldn't defeat us just now. In fact, they went back to fetch reinforcement. They have now touched understand our general strength. Next time we come, more and more powerful demon spiders will come. So we have to leave now. Everyone was surprised when Tang Lin said these words. They didn't expect that Tang Lin could think of so much at such a young age. They also began to seriously think about Tang Lin's words, but Feng Yubo made a decisive decision. I would rather believe that it exists than that it doesn't exist. It's about everyone's lives, so let's get out of here first. Leoli frowned. Do you really want to listen to this little brat? If they really come back, even if we run away now, is it still too late? I think they suffered once, and they probably won't come back again. The speed of the soul-eating demon spider is indeed very fast. If they call the demon spider, that is tens of thousands of years old. Even if they run now, they will probably be caught up. Tang Lin thought about it and realized that this made sense. But when he saw the bamboo next to him, he had an idea. There is a river on the opposite side. We cut a few bamboos to make bamboo rafts. After we cross the river, they will be unable to do anything to us. That's a good idea. You little brat is really smart. Feng Yubo said with a smile. If you don't want to die, hurry up and chop bamboo to make a bamboo raft to cross the river. Although Tang Lin was not sure whether what he said was right or not, when it came to his own life, he should consider the worst case scenario before making any decisions. Even if the demon spider won't chase them, they can still find suitable soul beasts for Lianqia and Lianqia on the other side. System, are there any boxes around? Ding. 815 meters ahead, 520 meters ahead on the left. These bamboos are no ordinary bamboos. Box energy plus 30. Box energy plus 15. Box energy plus 70. Soon, a group of people came to the river, threw the bamboo raft into the river, and one by one got on the bamboo raft and began to cross the river. Although they didn't quite believe Tang Lin's words, they felt a little worried after thinking about it. So, after leaving the ground, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. There was a breeze blowing on the river, and under the setting sun, the water surface was sparkling, and the two Soul Emperors stood proudly, with their sleeves fluttering. It's been so long, and I haven't seen any demon spiders chasing me. I just said that this little kid is being alarmist. He must have been frightened by those demon spiders. You don't believe me? Kwen said disdainfully. Don't be afraid of 10,000, just be afraid of the worst. What he said makes sense, Feng Yubo said with a slight smile. Kwen's face was awkward. He didn't expect that even the Soul Emperor would speak for Tang Lin. Boom boom boom. As soon as they finished speaking, they saw densely packed demon spiders running towards the shore just now, including several giant demon spiders that were 10,000 years old. A large cloud of dust rose up from behind the forest. Everyone was horrified and looked at Tang Lin blankly. It was unbelievable that, if it hadn't been for this child, they would have almost been annihilated in the Star Forest. The more I think about it, the more I'm afraid. When he looked at Tang Lin, he was not only shocked, but also grateful. Kwen's lowered his head in embarrassment and remained silent. Xiaolina is really amazing. Yeah, chapter 48. Everyone is a talent. The so-called surviving a catastrophe must have a future blessing. This time everyone was very lucky. Not only did they cross the other side of the river safely, but not long after they landed, everyone found a rare 1,000-year-old soul beast for Lianqia, the fire spirit beast. Lianqia sat cross-legged and absorbed the soul ring, while Tang Lin happily licked the box. Box energy plus 1080. Ding. Congratulations to the host for receiving a drop of fire spirit marrow, 200 kilograms of fire spirit beast meat, 6 pieces of fire spirit armor, and a ham leg bone. Fire spirit marrow can temper the body and enhance physical fitness. Fire spirit armor can resist the attack of the Soul King. Ham leg bone, the secret of speed. Not to mention the fire spirit marrow. I didn't expect there to be a leg bone. What a surprise. Host, Tang Lin. Soul power, level 20. Exercise skills, 18 beats in the circle first level, plus, box energy. 30,000. X8 X20 2000 X1 X1 X6 X1. There were so many things in the backpack that he couldn't even count them, but that didn't matter. The most important thing was to increase his strength. The plus sign finally lit up, and Tang Lin clicked lightly. 18 beats in the circle second floor. The box can consume you in an instant. Tang Lin stood up and spent a total of boxes to improve it. He didn't know how powerful the 18 beats were now. He immediately saw a stone in the distance. Hey, I didn't expect that there is an iron flame rock here. The book said that this iron flame rock is extremely hard, so I just wanted to give it a try. Tang Lin came up and touched the big stone. The book said it was right. It was hard enough. K-Wenz also noticed this big stone. You guys come here and help me clean this rock. Kia must be tired after absorbing the soul ring. It's just enough for her to lie on it. Oh. Before he finished speaking, he suddenly heard a bang, and the stone in front of him shattered. Then a strong little figure appeared. Tang Lin. K-Wenz shouted angrily. Tang Lin was still happy. He didn't expect this stone to be so vulnerable. It was really boring. After putting away the pan, he pressed his ears and said, "Why are you shouting so loudly? I'm not deaf." You. Xiaolin, what's going on? Liang Kia just finished absorbing the soul ring and came over to ask. It's nothing. I just accidentally smashed a stone. Tang Lin said aggrievedly. Oh, that's it. Xiaolina is really amazing. Master K, you are not allowed to bully my little Lina again in the future. Liang Kia said. After saying that, he ignored him and just pulled Tang Lin away. K-Wenz was so angry. I really want to squeeze Tang Lin to death with one hand. After Liang Kia absorbed the soul ring, it was getting late. Everyone decided to rest here for the night and wait until dawn tomorrow to find the soul beast for K-Wenz riverside. Liang Kia and Tang Lin were soaking their feet. Xiaolin, tell me honestly, where is your home, and why did you come here alone? Liang Kia asked. My home is far, far away. I left home to become stronger. Hearing what Tang Lin said, Liang Kia smiled helplessly. Tang was telling the truth, but she didn't believe it. Seeing that Tang Lin didn't want to tell her, she didn't bother to ask again. Whoa. Suddenly, a huge soul beast emerged from the water. It was too dark to see clearly from a distance. Xiaolin, go quickly. How could Liang Kia think about soaking her feet? She just grabbed Tang Lin and ran away. Don't panic, miss, I'm here. A Soul King suddenly leaped over from the woods. It turns out that someone has been secretly protecting her. What kind of monster is that? Liang Kia asked. Miss, that seems to be a 1,000-year-old soul beast, the Zuanshu turtle. You're so lucky, you can use it as the soul ring for that boy K-Wenz. The Soul King's eyes lit up and he chuckled. He is the Soul King of the Liang Kia family, and there is no need to call this boy K-Wenz the young master. Now that we have found this 1,000-year-old soul beast, we may be able to leave the dangerous place of Stardao Forest tonight. Miss, please wait on the shore while I catch that turtle. If a Soul King deals with a 1,000-year-old soul beast, isn't that easy? After only a few splashing sounds were heard on the water, there was no more movement point. When he looked again, the Soul King had subdued the turtle. Rich and powerful people are different. When hunting soul beasts to obtain soul rings, they don't need to do anything themselves. They only need to follow along and wait to absorb the soul rings. Tang Lin looked at the turtle. It had retracted its head and fit into its thick shell, making it difficult to see its true appearance. However, he discovered that this was not a black turtle, but an armored black turtle, a soul beast that combines defensive power. This is exactly one of the ideal soul beasts for his second soul ring. Miss, let's go back. It's not very safe outside, the Soul King said. The three of them returned to the campfire where everyone gathered. At this time, Laoli and K-Wens did not know where they had gone. The Soul King threw the armored black turtle to the ground and said, "This 1,000-year-old black water turtle can just be the third soul ring for that boy K-Wens." Although Tang Lin wanted this soul ring very much, he was not the one to capture it after all, and he was not qualified to do so. And he won't let these people know that he can absorb the second soul ring now. This soul beast is gone. You can continue to look for it in the future. But he didn't want to give up just like that. "Uncle, this is not a black turtle. Look carefully at the color and pattern of its shell. This is an armored black turtle." Tang Lin said. "Hey, it seems to be true." After reading it under the campfire, I realized that Tang Lin was right. This boy knew a lot. But no matter what kind of turtle it is, it can be used to make a soul ring anyway. He chuckled. Everyone nodded. Tang Lin shook his head. "This is different. The Zuanshu turtle has both defensive and offensive power. The armored turtle's main defensive power is extremely strong, but its offensive power is too weak. It is used to make Master K's soul. The ring doesn't quite fit. Master K's martial spirit is a wolf, and the path he takes is the path of speed and strength. The spirit beast he chooses should also be a speed and strength spirit beast. Even the black water turtle is not a good choice, let alone this armored one." "Black turtle." Tang Lin beeped, and everyone was stunned for a moment. I think what Tang Lin said makes sense. "How do you, a child, know these things? Who taught you?" someone asked. "The teacher taught me." Tang Lin spread his hands and said. "Which school did you go to? Why did such a young teacher ask you to learn so many things?" someone else asked. Tang Lin chuckled and passed the blame directly to Shrek. "I'm from Shrek Academy, but our school doesn't accept people." "Yeah, Shrek? Isn't this a very famous school in Soto City?" "Yes, I have also heard of this school. I heard that all the people who graduated from this school are talented people and they speak well. Oh, that's it. No wonder Xiaolin is so good at such a young age. Since you know so much, tell me, what kind of soul beast should my young Master K choose?" "Of course a wolf is the most suitable, but I think the Titan Ape and the Dark Demon Tiger are also okay," Tang Lin said with a smile. "Everyone, if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 49. The Law of True Fragrance. After everyone discussed it, they felt that Tang Lin was right. Sure enough, students from prestigious schools were different. "Then what should I do with this armored black turtle?" someone asked. "If that's the case, then let it go." Fart. "The labor and management worked so hard to catch it from the river, and you just let it go?" Tang Lin nodded. "Uncle is right. It's better to kill him and make a pot of turtle meat to eat." Oh. As soon as Tang Lin finished speaking, regardless of whether others had any opinions, the Soul King directly blasted into the turtle shell with a skill. Then blood splattered out. Before Tang Lin could react, Woogie was already dead. Holy crap, ruthless. The strength of the Soul King is indeed extraordinary. This man has a rough temper and his attacks are clean and neat. "Who will cook?" he asked. No one said anything. Almost everyone here had no experience in handling soul beasts. "Let me do it." Tang Lin stood up decisively and said in a milky voice, "Are you a god descending to earth? There are so many adults who don't know how to cook, do you understand? Why don't we wait until Master Li and young Master come back?" someone tried to ask. Yes, I heard that Mr. Li is very good at cooking. The young master has been studying cooking hard for several months for Miss Kia. Liang Kia immediately rolled her eyes. "Believe in you. I'll do it. You all just wait while I take it to the river to wash it," Tang Lin said with a smile. There was a purple soul ring hovering over the turtle's corpse, making it inconvenient for him to scan and lick the bag. After saying that, without waiting for anyone to respond, he just pulled the turtle's big tail and walked to the river in a hurry. Is this kid born with supernatural powers? The crowd was amazed. That big turtle was more than 10 times bigger than Tang Lin's body. With the armored turtle shell, it must have weighed at least 200 to 300 kilograms. Monster. What a little monster. After leaving everyone and coming to the river, Tang Lin immediately started licking his bag. This soul ring finally belonged to me, Tang Lin. Ding. Box energy plus 1111. Congratulations to the host for receiving a soul ring, 100 pounds of turtle meat, and 12 turtle shields. Spirit turtle meat, eat it to live longer. Turtle shield, can resist the attack of the Soul King. Take the turtle meat back to your parents to eat. This shield is pretty good. With my current body strength, I should be able to absorb the 1000-year soul ring. After licking the bag, Tang Lin felt happy. Xiaolin, you are here. Why are you running so fast? Why don't you wait for sister? It's very dangerous here, you know. Liang Qia caught up at this time. Fortunately, Tang Lin had already finished licking the box. Sister Qia. Oh, okay. Sister doesn't mean to blame you. Liang Qia was reluctant to blame such a cute Tang Lin. Come on, sister will help you do it together. At the bonfire, Kei Wen's and the two returned. Snapped. What the hell are you kidding me about? As soon as he came back, a subordinate came directly to him and whispered in his ear, reporting to him what had just happened. I never imagined that I would be slapped in the mouth right in the middle of what I said, and I would not dare to say more. Another subordinate who had been beaten twice before seemed to be smiling. Humph, you must have been beaten too. Look at you still laughing at me. With the help of a Soul King, Tang Lin quickly repaired the turtle and then took back enough meat for cooking. There are a lot of edible wild vegetables and fruits in the big forest, so Tang Lin and the others picked up some on the way back. After returning, they found that everyone was roasting a wild deer, and the scene was very lively. Miss, come on. Master Kei Wen's has hunted a wild deer just for you. The female soul sect said happily. No, you go and eat with them. I'm not hungry yet. Liang Qia said. Sister, they have no soul when they roast and eat them like that. Xiaolin will stew a pot of turtle meat for you to eat. Tang Lin said. It is good. Seeing Tang Lin tinkering there, Kei Wen smiled helplessly and said, little brother, my venison is very delicious. Are you sure you don't want to eat it with us? My turtle meat is more delicious. Don't worry, I will save some for you later, Tang Lin said. Ha ha ha, what a joke. If I eat your turtle meat, wouldn't the sun have to come out from the west? Kei Wen laughed. Tang Lin shook his head. No one in this world can escape the law of true fragrance. 1000-year-old turtle meat, even if it is cooked in a pan, takes almost 2 hours to cook. Point on the other side, everyone had almost eaten. The smell of barbecued venison was so strong that Tang Lin couldn't even smell the aroma. Sister Qia, I've kept you waiting for so long. Are you ready? Well, just by smelling it, I already know it is a rare delicacy. Liang Qia opened her eyes from sitting still and smelled it. Uncles, it's time to eat. There were only 2 people here who were responsible for protecting Liang Qia and did not go over to eat with them. They had already smelled the aroma of Tang Lin's place. Tang Lin shouted and came over immediately. The 4 of them started eating immediately. Naturally, they all carry bowls and chopsticks with them, which is very convenient for eating. It melts in your mouth. Smells. Wow, this is so delicious. I feel like I'm floating in the sky. I feel like I'm swimming in the ocean. How about it? Our Xiaolina is great, isn't she? Liang Qia said proudly as she ate with enjoyment. The 2 of them nodded vigorously. Awesome. Yo, at this time, a discordant voice came. I want to see what delicious food our lovely little Lina has cooked. Kei Wen's came over with a deer leg and handed it to Liang Qia. Qia, I baked it specially for you. You try. I don't need it. You can give it to my 2 uncles to try. Liang Qia slowly ate the turtle meat and said. Okay. There's a lot more over there. If you want to eat, tell me and I'll bake it for you. He could only helplessly hand the deer legs that he had roasted for more than an hour to the 2 people next to Qia. Since the lady said it, the 2 of them were too embarrassed to refuse. After taking it, they took a few bites and put it aside. Aren't you going to eat this? Kei Wen asked. That's what I worked so hard to bake. The 2 of them rolled their eyes at him, as if they were looking at another full point I gave you face, didn't I? There is such a delicious thing in front of me, but you want me to taste that tasteless deer leg? Are you sick? Seeing that they were eating with gusto, Kei Wen didn't believe in evil and directly took a bowl and filled it with a bowl. As soon as I entered, I was stunned. Incredible. Then I couldn't help but shed tears of emotion. How does it taste? Tang Lin smiled. K-Wen stuffed all the turtle meat in the bowl into his mouth, wiped his tears, and sobbed. It smells so good. Why did Master K take so long to deliver a deer leg? Didn't he eat a lot of it yet? Look, the young master is sitting next to the little doll and eating with them. It seems the young master seems to be crying. What's going on? Is it because the boy's cooking was too unpalatable and Miss Kia forced our young master to eat it, so he shed painful tears? Yeah, brother, your analysis is very spot on. Someone nodded. Fuck you. Our lady is gentle, considerate, and considerate. How could she be that kind of person? Let me go and have a look. That's right, our lady is not this kind of person. I'll go take a look too. Maid, why did these people all sit down and eat with them in the past? Didn't they even come back to enjoy such delicious venison? What are they thinking in their heads? Chapter 50. Fire Spirit Marrow Tempering Body. The next day, everyone was walking in the Star Forest. As long as we find a suitable 1000-year soul beast for K-Wens today, everyone can leave the Star Forest. After learning yesterday's lesson, Soul Emperor Oldly is no longer so unscrupulous, and he will let go of soul beasts whenever he can. Tang Lin felt miserable. I guess there won't be many boxes to lick today. After these 2 days, Tang Lin also discovered that K-Wens was really nice to Liang Kia. I don't know if it's sincere or forced. Being able to field a really strong team means that both families should be one of the best forces in Soto City. If the two families can be combined well, they might be invincible in Soto City. This may also be one of the reasons why K-Wens worked hard to please Liang Kia. K-Wens does not seem to be a good person, but in fact he is not a heinous bad person. He didn't know what he had done wrong before to make Liang Kia treat him so coldly. Tang Lin thought to himself, could it be as I guessed? Whoa. There is a lot of movement around. Everyone immediately became alert. However, what came was not the soul beast, but a team of soul masters, led by a female soul master. They were all Wuhan Palace soul masters wearing neat and clean Wuhan Palace uniforms. It turns out to be the Deputy Palace Master Wei Maxi. Feng has met the Deputy Palace Master. Feng Yubo said with his hands raised when he saw the visitor. The person who came was none other than the Deputy Hall Master of the Wuhan Hall in Soto City. Everyone paid tribute to her. It turns out they are from the Liang and K families. The two Soul Emperors are so polite. Wei Maxi chuckled and said, could it be that the Liang and K families have become in-laws? Wei Maxi is young and beautiful, with a graceful figure, mature and sexy, and a very nice voice. The master of the palace was joking. We just met by chance outside the Stardao forest and we went together. Feng Yubo shook his head slightly and smiled. Oh, really? Hiss, whose child does this handsome boy come from? He is so cute. Could it be that this is the result of two young masters and young ladies? Wei Maxi covered her mouth and giggled. The palace master misunderstood. My young lady has not yet become a monk. Feng Yubo said calmly. Wei Maxi stared at everyone, as if he wanted to see something. After a while, he smiled and said, gee, I said the wrong thing. Don't be offended. Wu Hundian or Wei Maxi certainly did not want to see these two families unite, otherwise their status in Soto City would also be affected. After some conversation, Wei Maxi took the spirit masters from the spirit hall and continued deep into the Stardao forest. They came here this time to obtain a 10,000-year spirit ring for her, which was difficult to find outside. I'm afraid there will be another Soul Emperor in the Wuhan Palace in Soto City in the future. Looking at their leaving figures, Laoli sighed. Humph, in such a dangerous place as the Stardao forest, who can guarantee that no accident will happen? We almost overturned on the outside. They went deeper. Maybe there will be no more people like her in Wuhan Palace in the future. Someone said disdainfully. Tang Lin could tell that these two families probably didn't have a very good relationship with this woman, or with Wuhan Palace. Soto City, Shrek, it seems you can take a look when you go back. Next, they continued to look for soul beasts in the periphery. Led by two soul emperors, they never encountered any danger in the periphery. Moreover, K-Wens was very lucky and finally got the soul ring of a black wolf. As Tang Lin said, he got a soul ring that perfectly suited his own martial arts. The third soul skill of the soul. He didn't hate Tang Lin as much as before, because he still wanted to eat Tang Lin's delicious food. The group of people quickly left the Stardao forest. When they arrived in the town, everyone was relieved and decided to sleep with him, before returning to Soto City. Tang Lin gained the most from this trip. X82,000 X1 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 X6 X1 X12 X10 X10 Werewolf cloak, dazzling black, with a hungry wolf pattern on the back point, not to mention other functions. After wearing it, you can at least improve your own style. Boots of swift step, a powerful magic weapon, to increase one's own speed, escape for one's life or chase the enemy. There's a lot more animal meat. When it comes to soul rings or something, it's safest not to rush it now, but to improve your physical fitness, before absorbing it. This drop of fire essence came just in time. Seeing that the two beauties beside him were fast asleep, Tang Lin quietly crawled over their graceful bodies, slowly got out of bed, and came to the living room. With a thought, the fire essence floated in the sky above his little palm, fiery red, like a drop of water. Tang Lin could feel that it was full of huge energy. The system told him that he could just swallow it and refine it, which made him a little doubtful. If he swallowed it like this, wouldn't it burn through his intestines? This system is sometimes reliable and sometimes unreliable. Sometimes I feel a little panicked. It would be great if it can be updated to a new version sometime. Tang Lin took a deep breath and swallowed it immediately without thinking about it. If he found something wrong, he would spit it out directly. When the fire essence entered the mouth, it was like eating a small chili pepper. It did not have the burning sensation that Tang Lin had imagined. Tang Lin felt a little relieved. Swallow straight away. Gradually, the fire marrow slowly emitted fiery and violent energy, and Tang Lin immediately used his soul power to absorb and refine it. The energy became stronger and stronger. Tang Lin's body gradually turned a hot red color, and wisps of white smoke came out of his little head. In order to become stronger, Tang Lin worked hard. He gritted his teeth tightly and endured the severe pain. As time passed, Tang Lin's whole body was already a fiery red, and the clothes he was wearing seemed to have melted and slowly disappeared. Day 2. Liang Qia woke up and found that Tang Lin was missing from the bed. She immediately got out of bed and started looking for him. The wardrobe and the bottom of the bed were all missing. When he came to the living room, he smelled an unpleasant stench. After covering his nose, he suddenly saw Tang Lin sitting cross-legged in the hall, naked. Have you finally succeeded in refining it? Tang Lin slowly opened his eyes. After enduring the severe pain all night, he finally absorbed it. At this moment, he felt that his whole body was full of energy, extremely powerful, and wanted to vent it out. Lin, what are you doing there? Suddenly, Tang Lin heard Liang Qia's voice. He stood up immediately. I didn't do anything. Then why are you naked? What's the smell in this room? Liang Qia asked. Only then did Tang Lin react, and his body felt cold. It turns out that I'm completely naked now. There was still some sticky odor remaining on the ground and on his body. He quickly turned around, his back facing Liang Qia. Is everything in this place the waste residue excreted after the body is tempered by the fire spirit marrow? You're still shy, you little one. Liang Qia smiled. Tang Lin quickly ran to the bathroom to take a shower, and the maid Ting Ting came over to clean up the mess for him. When he came to the bathroom, he checked the 5 pieces of spirit snake armor and spirit heavy armor on his body, and found that there was no damage at all. He breathed a sigh of relief. Feeling his perfect body again, Tang Lin became obsessed with it, and stroked it gently. Such physical fitness. It is absolutely appropriate to absorb a 1000-year soul ring. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.